Yo, what is going on, Papa fam? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sonny, aka Papa React, and today we are dropping a banger of a build. It's been a minute, we've been off the channel, so this is going to be an even funner build than before because your boy is back in action. We are building a Telegram clone with all the bells and whistles of chat functionality. We got video chat up to 100 participants, absolutely nuts. And I'm gonna build it in a way that it's gonna blow your mind. Everything you can imagine from a Zoom-like app is gonna be inside of this build. So get ready, destroy that like button. Let me know exactly where you're watching from right now. And we're gonna jump into a live demo. And for the first time ever, Jay's gonna be in the demo. So go ahead and make noise in the chat right now. And if you're watching the replay, of course, enjoy the timestamps that we're going to put on the screen or on the bottom. All right, let's check out our demo, guys. Boom. Here we have the app. It's called Beam. Connect instantly, chat smarter. So it's a modern messaging platform that's going to combine lightning fast chat, crystal clear video calls in one seamless experience. Me and Jay tried it. It's damn clear. I ain't going to lie. And of course, your boy does no half measures. Everything is always going to be responsive, right? We got Kenneth, Thomas, what's good, guys? I see everyone, Sama, all of you in the chat right now. Felipe, I see you guys. We're going to click on start chatting for free. Now, of course, we have Clerk powering the authentication, but the guys over at GetStream are doing some heavy lifting in this one, guys. So here we have it, syncing user data, and pow, we are inside of our app right now. So Jay, I'm on this account, so you're going to have to message me over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on start new chat. I'm going to search for Jay. Let's see where he is. I think it's J3. Oh, there he is. That Jay. Boom. We can also do group chats, by the way. So if I wanted to do, for example, Sonny as well, I can have a group chat, full functionality. In this case, let's just start a normal chat with Jay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start a chat. I'm going to say, what's up, Jay? And let's just forget about that for a second. So Jay is somewhere. And you can see, look, he read the message. He says hello. We can even respond with emojis. I can even reply in a thread. This is dope. I can send it as a direct message. If you ever use Slack or WhatsApp, you'll be familiar with that functionality. All of this is mobile responsive. And of course, we can have many other chats with group chat functionality, all that kind of stuff. Jay goes, let's video call. Let's go ahead and give Jay a call. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see Jay on video? Let's go ahead and see it right now. I'm going to click on video call right now. And Jay, let me do it first, because I want to show them the entire UI and then I'll show them what happens. Okay. So I'm going to click on video call. Now we are joining a call. So you guys can see right now, my camera is kicking into gear. Let's see if I can pull up that as well. So then it goes waiting for others to join. Now, of course, I'm on localhost, but if we've tested this live, it works. I can click on copy link. I can send that over to Jay. So Jay's going to go ahead and get a link right now. Jay, if you just click video call on your side, you'll be able to jump into this exact call. So let's go ahead and see for ourselves if Jay comes in to the chat. Let's wait for it. Jay, this is where you join the chat. I'm hoping I don't need to do it on my live account, but I'm sure we're good. I'm sure we're good. Is he in the chat? Is he leaving me hanging on a live stream? This is the problem when I do it live. Send link. No, but he can do it on his own. Click video call. Click the video call button, Jay. And then he should be able to join in a second. Oh, there he is. Look, I knew it. Wait for it. Let's see if I want to hear, see if the mic comes through on here. Jay, turn on your, hey, there we go. Look at that. What's up, Jay?
Hello.
Yo, we got Jay in the house. That is so cool.
So
it's so smooth. And look at this, guys. We've got the video. I can go ahead and change my camera. So right now you can see my camera is the one I'm live on right now. I can change the mics. I can even share my screen. So I don't know how brave we want to be here with that, but I can share my screen, reactions, the whole lot is there inside of this build. So Jay, thank you for being in the demo. We're going to jump straight into the build. And yeah, guys, you guys can see it for yourself. This is awesome. And by the way, guys, this is up to 100 people in this chat. So if I was to join this chat as well, from another, if I made another group chat, Jay, I'm going to start one more group chat. I'm going to add you to it. I want you to jump into that call.
Sure.
Cool. So guys, you can see for yourself, it literally works to that extent. So let's go ahead and do a group chat right now. So I'll do Sonny. let's say I've got 2 accounts. So this is my other account here. Let's just call it the Pup Fam. Okay, create a group. And as you can see, Pup Fam, yo. And as you can see on this side, look, we have message notifications over here. This is awesome, right? Everything is baked in, unread messages. Look at that. It's just so slick. So Jay will now see this message on this screen. So Jay, you should be able to see that right now. So look, Jay Rethel is, and by the way, can we see this? Look, this is cool. And you can see, look, we have typing indicators, live presence. You can see that it says over there, Sonny is typing. Now I'm going to go ahead and start a video call. Jay, do the same thing, please. Jump into the video call. On this side, I'm going to jump in. On this side, I'm going to jump in. And we're going to have a bit of an inception weirdness going on, but I'm trying to demonstrate something. So while you're waiting for someone to join, it'll do that. And now I've got some double video going because I've got 2 different people logged in.
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm going to have to mute. I'm going to have to mute both mics. There we go. Yeah. So
You muted both.
yeah. So the thing is, it's going to be echo.
Yeah.
But it demonstrates the point. So if I make one, so Jay, I'm going to mute for a sec. Right. So if I put one camera over here, now you can see we've got 3 people on a group call. Like you can have up to 100 people with GetStream's APIs. So this is absolutely incredible. You guys are going to build this for yourself today, and it's going to be incredibly smooth, and it's just going to work so nice. Right now, the reason why that one's freezing, I believe, is because I have a bunch of I have a bunch of streams where this camera is going to, so it's kind of glitch on that. Thank you, Jay. See you in a bit. He's muted. Okay, guys, that's pretty damn cool. All right, so make sure you smash that like button, and we're going to go ahead and dive straight into this build. I'm going to break it down. It's going to be incredible. Rui Costa says this is going to be a 10-hour build for sure. Let's make a bet right here. I feel like we can bang this entire build out in around 3 to 4 hours. Of course, like I mentioned, GetStream is the incredible, powerful platform behind this. They have the best APIs and SDKs that I've found for video and audio chat, period. Right? Yes, they are sponsoring this video, and our friends over at Clerk are. But the reason why I use them is because honestly, even this chat component, the video call, the messaging, all of that is pre-built components, which are incredibly easy to get up and running. So I'm going to show you all of it, how to get everything powered up. And of course, you can just imagine the crazy experiences that you can build with this, right? It's absolutely awesome. So in this case, we've got video calling, audio rooms, live streaming as well. Now, live streaming, look at this. Imagine you had some kind of, in this case, you could be at one of those workout bike apps. You can stream over 100,000 participants. Yep, I said it. Even voice assistants, audio rooms, video, all of that, all of it powered in from the guys over at GetStream. Now, this isn't the first time I've used them, by the way. We've used them for React Native before as well. So you guys can see for yourself. Today, we've never done a GetStream build with a stream. I keep calling it GetStream, but GetStream is the URL. We've never done a stream build with Next.js, so it's going to be a fun one as well. Patty Spicy goes, the one and only live coding full stack web development. Amen. You know about it. All right, so in this case, we're going to dive into some of the tech stack, and of course, powering it, all of this user authentication, all of this beautifulness powered by Clerk, right? So Clerk is our incredible friends. They're sponsoring as well. But as you guys can see right here, Clerk power up our apps with just the simplest authentication flows out there. But when I say simple, do not take that for little less power. They are the most powerful authentication platform, period. I say it over and over again. If you haven't heard of Clerk, go and just check their website out, right? Use the links, by the way, in the description. So I have links for both in the description. When you sign up, when you follow this tutorial, it means a mountain to go ahead and use those links, because it means that they know that you came from this tutorial, which means I can continue to build this when we are I can build this stuff for free. What's it? Jay said there's an echo. I hope not now. Okay. So in this case, we have tons of different authentication methods. We have session management, multi-factor authentication, email and SMS one-time passcodes, magic link, social sign-on, bot detection, advanced security methods, all of that good stuff, including passkeys, everything. You've seen me use them a bunch of times. I trust them. They're incredible. And they have Clerk billing now. Just icing on the cake. And of course, we also have Convex, right? So Convex is powering the user synchronization element of this. So I'm going to be showing you how to tie in Convex so we can power up features such as this, right? So in this case, the ability to search for users. All of this is pulling through because when we sign in, you would have noticed that there was this user sync happening. I'm going to teach you how to have a higher order component, which will synchronize all of your data on the back end always. So really, really powerful stuff. Okay. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and break down the app firstly, and then we're going to dive in. Now, of course, if you find any of this tricky, it's too fast, you kind of feel a bit overwhelmed, like what the hell is running through this tutorial. And like I said before in many of my videos, we have an epic community that you can always be a part of. The doors are always open. Zero to Full Stack Hero, papareact.com/course is where I teach all of this goodness in and out every week. And basically all of the stuff that I basically teach online is inside there. Right. So whenever we touch new topics, everything, you see it here way before it goes on YouTube. So if you guys want to go ahead and get, access to all of that amazing community, all of those weekly coaching calls, all of that modular training and all of these content packs, then you know where to go. papareact.com/course. Go ahead and check it out. Thomas goes, Sonny, why do you have to sync data with Convex? It's already synced because of WebSockets? No. So basically, I'll explain it as we dive into the build. But essentially, we need to know which users are constantly signed in, even if they're not actively on the platform. So WebSockets would be more so if everyone was live on the platform. We want to know if someone had signed in once, is a user of the app, and then I can start a chat with them. So things like that. So basically amalgamating and joining 3 bits of tech together in this video, plus Next.js. So it's a bunch of stuff you're going to learn in this video. Now, let me get my nice little friend up, Yofla screen clean, I think it's called. I mean, you know what? I don't even think that works anymore. I'm going to open up here we are. Let's go at the tech stack, right? Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, we got an upgrade, fresh headphones. It makes such a difference. It's wild. All right, make sure you smash the like button as well. Yeah, so I see too many of you watching these videos not liking the video. I don't know what's up with that. We're building stuff for free, guys. It's crazy. All right. So we're going to go ahead and start breaking down the tech stack. So of course we have Next.js 15, right? So who's coding along with me on this? Let me know in the chat. Next.js 15 in the mix. We also have TailwindCSS. So obviously this is going to be powering it all up. And you're probably wondering, is React involved? Well, if you're not sure, don't worry. I'm going to explain it as if you're an absolute beginner, right? So React is the library that we use. Next.js, especially Next.js 15, is the framework for React. So I hope that clears it up. So if you ever see Next.js, it means there's React under the hood. Okay. So TailwindCSS, and then we're going to be using Convex for the real-time database, which is absolutely incredible. We have Clerk powering up our authentication. So we have Clerk, amazing. Honestly, the best for authentication, hands down. And then we have Stream, or I like to keep saying GetStream. If you see me say that, that's why. GetStream, basically powering all of our chat functionality. So we're using 2 of the APIs. We're using the chat messaging API, and we're also using the video and audio calling API. They also have a bunch of others like live streaming and all that stuff. So you can feel free to go wild, do what you need to do. But yeah, we have Clerk and Stream active as well in this build. I'm trying to think what is worth mentioning. Let me go ahead and just double check. So we've got, oh yeah, and of course, how can I miss out? We've got TypeScript in the mix as well. Okay. So TypeScript is in the mix as well. So lots of new things that I haven't done before on this channel, right? We're going to cover all of this today. So if you've been wanting to learn any of this right now, you're in the right place. And something which I very stupidly ran past was actually Shadcn. So Shadcn is how we get the app looking beautiful, pairs really nicely with Tailwind, and it might be a big reason why our sidebar is looking so nice. So you guys keep asking me a lot of the time. I've seen it in coaching calls, and I've also seen it in I've seen it in the community chat. A lot of the places we have a school community, of loads of places where you guys are talking. And you always ask me, Sonny, show us how to build a responsive sidebar. So I hear you. We're building it today. Okay. So you see this sidebar right here. Pow! Look at that. Very nice. Also, how do we get it working on mobile? How do we get this nice little, side pop out and all that kind of click away functionality? All of it. We're going to get done. And of course, by the way, you can also leave a chat. So say I don't enjoy talking to Jay anymore. I can leave that chat. Boom. I go ahead and get kicked out, and I can chat to him on this one now. Okay. Game says, do you have any course? Yeah, I just mentioned it before. We have 0 to Full Stack Hero over at papareact.com/course. Feel free to check it out yourself, right? The link is all in the description. Jay's also sent it to you right now. Thomas goes, oh, I love this. Thomas goes, TypeScript, Clerk, Next.js, and Convex is absolutely OP. And don't forget Stream. They absolutely made this whole thing possible. So yeah, absolutely. This is an OP build right now, okay? And yes, for those of you wondering, I'm going to answer one question before we jump into this. So, vibe coding, because that's been the big thing going on lately. The one thing I'm going to scream about on this channel to the day I go down is basically you can vibe code, okay. You might have Cursor, you might have whatever, a Copilot, Amazon Q, everything in the mix. There are so many things which can help you be a better or faster, more efficient developer, let's say. But do not forget the fundamentals, because I reject about 80% of the suggestions that AI spits out at me, by the way. All right, most of it I'm going ahead and rejecting. So for everyone wondering, is our jobs going to get taken, blah, 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 I can tell you right now, I've rejected so many applicants on our software house at the moment because all of them just come into the team with, I can vibe code that. And I'm like, that just will not cut it. If you know your stuff as a developer, you will not be scared of this AI push right now. You'll see it as an ability to strap on a turbo pack to your back so you can run way faster. So that's what we're going to take this mentality in. We're going to jump straight into the build right now. Okay. Let me know your thoughts in the chat as well as we jump into this, because I'm curious to hear from you guys. So Next.js, I like to show you from the beginning. I'm going to do a starter template. We like to, actually you could do that one, but I'm going to show you the one that I like to use. Okay, so we're going to open up our terminal. I'm going to keep it fresh. And right now it was very funny because I used either this, where you can have Amazon Q, obviously, or you can have Warp and these other terminals. And I got such a funny comment the other day because someone was killing me over it. They said, Sonny, why is your terminal white? And I really did feel that. I don't know why it's white, I'll be honest. It's just because I'm live in the daytime. Let's go ahead and go into documents /builds. And inside of here, we're going to go ahead and do our command. So I want to show you a little trick here. If you do Control R, you get this recursive search. And in this case, I've already ran this command in the past. So npx create next app. And you can see here, this is when I built the Telegram build, right? So what we want to do is we're going to do npx create next app at latest. And then I'm going to say Telegram YouTube. Okay. Telegram YouTube. Let's call this stream. Yeah. And now it's going to ask us a bunch of questions. Okay to proceed. Yes, we are okay to proceed. Would you like to use TypeScript? Yep. Yes, Lynn. That's actually a new question. Yeah. TailwindCSS. Yes. No. Yes. No, yes. I'm just accepting all the defaults. I don't want to customize anything out here. And then Patty Spicy, spot on. She says, fundamentals are the most important thing to learn before using some of the AI tools for fast development. Amen. It's like having a Bugatti Veyron and driving at the speed of some crazy ridiculous speed and not knowing how to drive a car. Like it's literally, it could be that stupid, right? For some reason my camera, oh, there you go. Okay, it's working, right? So once that's done, we're going to jump into this. We're going to say CD, Telegram, YouTube stream. And then I'm going to use Cursor today. You can use, VS Code. If you do code dot, I'm going to open up in Cursor because I've just been working there. And I'll show you maybe how I might use it. To be honest, I don't like doing vibe code and stuff on YouTube. Well, I mean on a live stream because it's unpredictable. But I'll show you if we get around to it, okay? So at this point, we have our fresh slate. We've got the app, page.tsx, and I want you to run this, okay? So obviously tell me if it's too small, tell me if it's too big and all this kind of stuff. Vampire themes are out. Change the terminal color. I'm sorry, guys, okay? I'll change it to black, all right? This is, look, we're in a safe place now. We're in the black terminal environment. I know, the white one just drives everyone crazy. All right, let's do npm. And obviously I'm in the npm environment right now, but if you are using pnpm, what you could do here is pnpmi and then just remove your package lock. So let's do that to be fair. And then let that, and then you should see a pnpm lock file in a moment while it resolves that. And then now you can see, look, pnpm lock. Okay. Now I want to run this. We're going to do pnpm dev or npm run dev. Okay. It's completely up to you. If I show you, I'm just showing you either way how you can do it, right? Of course, it doesn't matter. See how it still ran it, okay? Page.tsx. Now, of course, I've got the other app running on localhost 3001. So I'm going to go ahead and just run this on localhost 3001 instead, right? So I'm going to actually pop it into this right here. And what you should have as a starting point is this right here. So you should have your just Next.js starter template, Command J to hide that, Command B to hide that. And then this is where we want to be to begin with, okay? Now let me know constantly the speed, all that goodness, you know, if I'm going too fast. I always like your feedback. I appreciate it, okay? So in this case, we're going to go ahead and remove everything inside the main, down to the footer, get rid of it all. And then here, H1, hello, stream. Okay. And as you can see, we have hello stream. Now you'll notice that it's set it up by default with TailwindCSS. Now TailwindCSS essentially gives us these utility classes. Now when I hover over it, I can see this. You might not see that. If you don't see that, I want you to go over to your extensions, type in Tailwind, and you should have this, right? I need you to install this. That's number one. Number two, I want you to install ES7. So type in ES7. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, wow. It used to have way more downloads. That's weird. Or ES7. And you'll see this one, 260,000 React Redux, React Native snippets. All right. We're going to use all of this in a short moment. Now, with that in mind, I want you to get rid of the utility classes, hit save, and then we should be at this point right here. Now, I do want to mention as well, the code, I haven't made it public yet, right? So it's actually going to be, it's already inside the Papa GitHub repo, which you can go ahead and access down in the description below. Or I may give it, depending on how everyone gives me feedback on how hard this build is. So you guys let me know. What do you want? If you already have Papa GitHub repo, should I keep it in the Papa GitHub repo? Or, you know. Jamie goes, we need a session in the coaching calls on AI tool usage for sure. Vibe coding is not equal to auto completions. I regularly use Claude Code now, and it's 10x my output. 100%. Very, very true. It's so different to the auto completions. However, even when you're using a composer tool or some kind of agent, you have to review that stuff, like immensely review it. Otherwise it can go really wild, really quick. Okay, so I'm going to keep the other app open on this side so we can see it. And let's start with something basic. Let's start with the landing page. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and kill that. And we've got this right here. Things like this, yeah, vibe code up, right? Don't do it for the functionality, but for the landing pages and stuff, yeah, it's pretty good. I can't lie. It's actually very handy to do. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and get started by just creating a header. Okay, so a header. Now, before we do this, before we do that, we need to install Shadcn into our app, right? So what I'm going to do is pull open another screen right here, and let's go to Shadcn, ui.shadcn.com. Okay. Now, what this is a component library, an amazing one. I'm going to actually remove this. I've got a VPN on right now because GetStream had a bit of issues in the UAE. So in this case, now we're good. So I'm going to go to the docs and I'm going to click on pick your framework, Next.js. And here we need to initialize Shadcn. Okay. So just pick whatever you're using. If it's NPM, you can use this, Fun, Yarn, whatever the case. There's no right or wrong here. All right. PNPM, a little bit more, space saving. Let's create a new terminal while the other one's running. And I'm going to paste it in. And now what this will do is it will set up Shadcn for us. Might ask us a couple of questions while it does it. So let that do its thing. And then we're going to just keep it as neutral. And then now you should be able to see this freaks out for a second. And then it should go back to normal in a moment. If we go back to our ZSH, what I recommend you do is you cut your terminal and you just restart it. Okay. So now we should see this will go. There you go. And you should be back. Now, what did it do? Well, it added a couple of setup files and it added this lib folder with the utils file. But what is the use of Shadcn? Well, it gives us all these beautiful components that we can use, including these blocks, which are like big chunks, including sidebars, right? So we're going to actually use this afterwards. But what we want to do is, for example, like let's say a button, right? Looking at this right now, I want that button, right? So in this case, what I do is I grab this command, go back over, pop it in like so. And what this will do is while I run that command, you'll see it'll create a components folder, UI folder inside it, and it'll add the button here. Now, why is this better than just having a random button that we import from somewhere else? Well, because we can see the code. So we can see exactly how that button was built, and then we can use it with that transparency in mind. So if we ever did want to change the underlying button, we can do that, right? But in this case, we're not going to touch the button. So in this case, we just want to use that component. We can say button, and now you can see it imports the button, or in this case, just say click me. And then you got a button. And what they give you is this different things we called variants. Right, so now I can go ahead and make it and as you can see the button's rendering out, I can make it a destructive button, in which case it goes red. I can make it an outline button, in which case it has nice outline and so forth, right? So this is very handy for developing at speed. I use Shadcn, by the way, in production builds. 100% I use it in production builds. It's awesome, right? I've used it in a lot of builds that we've done, SaaS apps we've done, loads of stuff. Don't let anyone tell you differently. You can 100% use it. It's fine, right? So in this case, we have that down. So let's start building the home screen. I want to start getting an app looking like this. And number one is obviously this header, right? Well, before we do actually, no, let's do the header right now. So the header requires us to set up Clerk, right? Because of course it has this beam, which is the logo of our company in this case. And again, I have no affiliation with Beam. It's purely education. If someone has it, sorry, take it. It's fine. In this case, we're going to go ahead and set up Clerk. Right. So using the link in the description, I want you to go click the link in the description and you will reach this page, right? Modern Next.js authentication is npm install away. Now I want you to click on start building, and then you can go ahead and follow the following commands. Now, instead of doing it this way directly, I want you to click on dashboard. It's a bit simpler to do this. And then what we're going to do is I've already set up many builds. In this case, I want you to click on create new application and we could just name it. So in this case, I'm going to say, let's call this one Telegram YouTube build, YouTube stream. Okay. And then you can set your authentication methods. We can have email, Google, you can have Apple, a bunch of them as well. But we're going to just keep it as Google for now. All right. And then in this case, you've got an LLM prompt, which will help you out if you want to do that. In this case, we're going to keep it pure. I'm going to do pm add Clerk. Let's go back to our code, Command J to pull that up, and then we're going to pop it in. So pm add Clerk. And then it's added Clerk. Very quick. And then we've got our environment file. Now, of course, it also has our client secret key. Now, if I expose any keys in this tutorial, that's a mistake. You should not expose your keys ever. But I'm not going to be super careful because they probably will get spilled out at some point. But I'm going to invalidate these keys. Just know that, okay? So these keys right here, you want to copy it. And I'm going to paste it in here, okay? So we literally copied and pasted it. And yes, that's a secret key. And yes, I'm showing it on a live stream because I'm going to invalidate it afterwards. It's fine. I'd rather teach you lot. I trust you lot for the duration of this live stream. Probably stupid of me because I've had problems before, but it's okay. All right. So in this case, we got next public Clerk publishable key and we got the Clerk secret key. And then what we do is head back down and we got the middleware. So I want you to copy the middleware snippet. And in the top layer of your folder structure where your component JSON is, I want you to create a new file called middleware.ts. And once you have that, I want you to paste it in, right? Just like that. Hit save and then keep going the wrong way. And then we have our middleware. Now, what I want you to do immediately is go ahead and hit refresh and make sure the app loads, right? So that means you set it up correctly, okay? Peter goes, what's up everyone? I'm not here for long, but just want to say it's the best channel in the world, period. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Jay, screenshot that. Love that. Thank you so much. That's the kind of energy I want in this community, right? So now we need to add the Clerk provider. So I'm going to show you what we're actually going to do here. So we have a Clerk provider, but then we're also going to wrap it in something called a Convex client provider, okay? So in this case, let's just do the default setup. I've already done a lot of it here, so I'm not going to actually be able to need to do all this manually. But in the instance of making it easy to follow, I'm going to go to my app, my layout, and I'm going to paste in this. Now, I don't need all of this. I don't need any of that. I just need the Clerk provider. Go down here to the body. And now the way it works in Next.js 15 is you have a layout and then your page renders essentially as a child in there. Right, so your page is basically going to get copied and pasted, or it's just swapped into there, right? And then as the routing happens, your layout will forever be on top of the thing that's being rendered out the page. So in this case, we can render our Clerk provider around the child, okay? To do that, again, make sure it's working. In this case, we're good. Everything's happy, right? Now, I'm gonna reroute the user to the / dashboard after they sign in or after they sign up. So after they go ahead and do those two things, I want them to get pushed to a / dashboard, which doesn't exist yet. So we're going to create that. Okay. And then next, we're going to have the Convex client provider. Now, what is that? So what I'm actually going to do here is, we've already done this. I'm going to go over to Convex, right? Now in Convex, we can go ahead and do npm create Convex to get started. And if you check the documentation, they have pretty good documentation, to be fair. In this case, if you click next, you can go ahead and do it, right? So, but in this case, we want to do npx convex dev to set this one up, right? So npx convex dev. And while that's loading, I want us to set up a few things at the same point. So in the description, you will see a link to the get stream page. You'll see a link here. I want you to click on login and then set up your account. In this case, I've already created an account, so I'm going to continue with my account right here. And then it will log in. So you guys will have access to your own page. So as you can see, I've got a fresh page here. Okay, or this page. I could even go ahead and I've created one app, so I'll show you how to do it afterwards. Okay, so I want you to do that as a second step. So in this case, you've got your Clerk and you've also got your Convex. So in this case, Convex, we are back at this documentation. Yeah, you should set that up. Now, in this case, for Convex, it goes, would you like to configure a new project or create an existing project, or the other way? So we're going to click on create a new project. And then I've got two here, Sonny Sangha's team. That's one of my students actually, underneath it. And then project name, Telegram, YouTube stream is okay. And we're going to do a cloud deployment. And as you can see, it will go ahead and do that. Now, in order to push, add Convex to your package.json dependencies. So, I forgot to install Convex, right? So we actually need to do that right now. So I'm going to add another terminal, pm add Convex. And then give it a moment, let that install. I completely skipped the step. We just hit 100 likes as well. Boom. Keep smashing that like button. Thank you guys for whoever's liked it so far. Destroy it, because back in the day, we get 1,000 likes on live stream and everyone's getting lazy with AI. So just destroy that like button for me. It means the world. Appreciate you guys. All right. So we're going to go ahead and now you can see Convex ready, Convex functions ready. And it also added Convex development and our next public Convex URL. Yep. You can see it here. So this has all been added from Convex. Yeah. So that one command, I like to do it like this, Clerk. There you go. Okay. Now in this case, we can close this one. We don't care about that one anymore. Right. So at this point now, we have our Convex up and running. So what we can do is go over to Convex. We can log in. And then once we're logged in, we should be able to see the project that we just created. So in this case, I've got tons of them. Telegram, YouTube stream created 2 minutes ago. Bam. Let's go click on that. And we are in our environment. We are in the place we need to be. Click on settings. Is it not integrations? No, it's not this one. Yep. So for now, we should be good once you get to this point. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to actually do Convex and we're going to connect it with Clerk. So I want you to go to Command K. Is it we got here? So let's go ahead and do Clerk. And Convex and Clerk is here. So as you can see, we're going to connect the two now. Okay, so we've got lovely documentation across the board for all of the things we're using today. Can you build a football management system with live stream and video conferencing? Oh, it's an interesting one. Okay. So now we are going to go create an application we've already done. JWT template. So in Clerk, go to configure, go to JWT templates, click add new template. And then I want you to click on templates and go down to Convex. You can see here, Convex 3600. You're going to need these later, but for now, just click on save. Very important that we do this, right? Now, once that's done, head back over to the documentation. We've done that step. We need to set our environment variable, okay? So head back over to our app. Go ahead and set it and it's actually the Clerk one. So Clerk JWT issuer domain. What is that? Well, that is actually, if we go back to Clerk, it's this inside of Clerk. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in. Suitable paragraph 23. Right, that's my one. It's not this one, it's the issuer. Okay, don't get confused. Now, if we go down, the last bit is Convex auth config. Okay, so right here, we may not actually have that yet. So in this case, we go into our files. We should have a Convex folder now. Why are my key bindings not working? 1 minute. Oh, sorry. 1B. I completely thought it was arc for a second. Wow. All right, so here you can see Convex, and then we need to create a auth. So in this case, on Convex, we're going to do a file here, auth.config.ts. Paste it in. And as you can see, I mean, it's freaking out right now about something stupid, but you don't need to worry about that, right? In this case, we've already got this, which is inside of our environment local. There you go. And then we also have this. Right now, I'm going to show you something. A lot of you will run into this issue where you'll be like, hang on a minute, I added this and it's still not working, right? The reason why is because it actually doesn't belong here. I'm adding it here as more of a fail-safe, but this needs to be added on Convex's side, right? Now, I hope this makes sense in a moment, but this is actually a Convex environment variable. So it actually doesn't even belong here, but I keep it as there so I don't forget it. But what you can do is you go over to Convex, go to settings, environment variables, and this is where we put it. So Clerk issuer domain, and then there you go. And if you think about it, it's because I actually added it inside of our Convex auth. So it's actually a Convex environment variable at that level, right? And you can see here, it goes down and pops in. Now, if you actually didn't do that, it will pop up with a message to go ahead and tell you how to do that. But in this case, we've done it. Cool. So now hit a refresh. Oh, I've closed the entire app. And then go to page. And now what we want to do is actually use the Convex stuff. Oh, actually, we need to do the provider still. So we're not done yet. Now going back over to our documentation, we need to install Clerk React, which we're actually using Clerk Next. We don't need to do this. All right, we've already done our publishable key. You can ignore all of this. Convex provider with Clerk. Now, at this point, you can kind of like listen to this, but don't listen to this. Like listen to what I'm saying at this point, right? So in this case, what I'm going to teach you to do is we're going to create a higher order component. I have my own kind of favored way of doing it. So over here, inside the components folder, not in the UI folder, I'm going to create one called Convex client provider.ts. Remember those snippets we added earlier when you do RFCE? And then you can see we have a Convex client provider. And this is all wrong right now, so we don't need this. Instead of this, we are going to, and also it's not TS, it's TSX. Yeah, very important. Now here, this is going to be a client component in React 13 and above. I think it was when we introduced client components. I've lost track of when it changed now, but client components and server components, everything by default is a server component until we say use client derivative at the top or directive. Okay. So in this case, we have children, which is React nodes, because this is going to wrap something. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use the following. We're going to have our Convex provider with Clerk, which we import from React Clerk. Okay. And then we need to check if the environment variable is set or not. So if next public Convex URL is set, if it's not set, then throw an error. And then we need to initialize Convex, right? So here, I'm going to import this from Convex. And now you can see we're checking that exists. And then we're going to go ahead and do it like so. And that we pass through to the client here. Now use auth is a different story, right? Use auth we pull in from Clerk Next.js. Okay. So what this is doing, guys, is this is essentially connecting Convex and Clerk together. Okay. What we then do is we go over to our layout, and where we have the Clerk provider, we inner wrap the next layer like so. So what we're essentially doing here, guys, is we have the Clerk provider. which powers up anything beneath it with Clerk stuff. Okay, so it's called a higher order component button. And then we have the Convex client provider, which is beneath it, which powers up anything in beneath that. So for example, this powers up anything beneath that with Convex functions, right? So now any page that we interact with will have access to the Clerk stuff and the Convex stuff. Again, higher order component. All right, so that's done. And now we want to test the app. So again, so hit a refresh. It's not freaking out. We're good. Okay. And as you can see, if we go to this, you can see there's no errors here. All good. Awesome. So now we go to our page.tsx. We can close everything to make it easier. And over here, I want to start doing things. So I want to make a header component. And this is where we're really going to start using the authentication. Now we don't have a header component, which is why it's freaking out. Time to get into a flow state. Then we have components. We do header.tsx, RFCE to make a header component. And I believe I did make this a client component. Yep. So this one is a client component again. Now, what we're going to do here is we need a couple of things. So I'm going to customize the header based on if I know I'm in the dashboard or if I know I'm on the home page, right? So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab the path name of the URL that we're currently on by using the use path name React hook. And then I know if the path name starts with /dashboard, then I know we're on the dashboard page. But right now we shouldn't be, right? So in this case, let's go ahead and pull this in. And you should be able to see header. Okay. So as you can see, it's working. And then we want to effectively, we're building this right now, the beam, and then this sign in modal. Okay. Any OG will know where this song is from. Absolutely crazy. You know? So at this point now, the header, we're going to change the header tag to be a header. And then we're going to firstly have a link tag. So next link tag. And then we're going to span the words beam inside of it. We don't even need to span it, to be fair. All right. Like so. And the href is going to go towards the dashboard. Okay. So in this case, you can see beam. If I click it, it will take me to a 404 because it's trying to go to the page. Press left goes, what do, Sonny? Keep it up like always. OG is here representing. Hey, I appreciate you. Always pulls up my energy when I see some OGs. Moses as well. I see you guys. What's up? Right, so in this case, now we're going to go ahead and pop in. So some of the styling elements throughout this build, I will be popping in like so, right? Because this is really not going to benefit you that much for me to explain every little detail like that. I actually changed that, so we don't actually need that now. So yeah, just worth knowing. Okay, so in case you see me popping code, remember all of the code will be available in the Pop-Up GitHub repo afterwards. Okay, so at this point now, we've got the nice little beam logo there. And then I'm going to have a div. And this div, we're going to use some very useful components here. So we're going to use the authenticated component. And notice how this comes from Convex. So what this is doing is it's basically checking that we're logged in on Clerk, and then Clerk synchronizes with Convex, and then it will make sure that we're actually authenticated before showing us the content. So if we're authenticated, then we're going to go ahead and show the user button. Okay. User button's awesome. We import it from Clerk. From Clerk, sorry. And then we also have the unauthenticated state. So from Convex. Okay, pull that in. Oh yeah, that needs its children. So in this case, we're gonna have the sign in button. Okay. And this one is gonna have a button inside of it, which is from our UI library. We're gonna sign in. Import the sign in button like so. And then this button, I'm going to change the variant to be an outline. Okay. Now here you can see let's sign in. Now already with that alone is enough to do what we need it to do, right? Now you can add in these two conditions here as well. So for the sign in button, we're going to make a mode is modal, else it will take us to another page. And just with that code alone, boom, we have a fully responsive modal, always centered, looking absolutely beautiful. Okay. That's awesome. And it will redirect us to the /dashboard afterwards. Now that's great. But I also want to check. Oh God. Oops. Sorry guys. I also want to check if we're not on the dashboard. That was so sharp. Well, if we're not on the dashboard, I want to have a button which says dashboard, right? So straightforward to do that. We're not, well, when we are authenticated, I'm going to have is not, if you're not on the dashboard page, we're going to have a button which will take you to the dashboard page. Very simple. Okay. And that's auto completion. That is not the AI agents that everyone's seeing with Composer, for example. Okay. Different. So at that point, that's pretty much very straightforward. We just need it to be centered. So flex item center with a gap of 2, and let's hit a little refresh. Where's my sign in button looking? Oh, sorry, it's this one. So we need it to be flex item center justified between, padding on the x-axis of 4, and I'm going to give it a height of 16, and on the small screens I want to do a padding x of 6. And let's see now. There you go. That looks cleaner. Right, so now you can see we've got a nice little header there. Sign in. Let's go ahead and click continue with Google, and you can see our authentication is working. It pops in with my account. I can sign in, and that is honestly authentication handled, which is absolutely incredible. Right, you can see it then will redirect me to a localhost /dashboard, which is correct. We don't have dashboard yet, which is fine. So if I go back to localhost 3001 now, we should be able to see our user button. Oh, in this case, it's because I'm there you go. This is interesting. So no auth provider found matching the given tokens. No providers configured. Check Convex auth. So let's check Convex auth config. So Clerk JWT issue a token. We did set this. Interesting. That's strange, wasn't it? I'm wondering if it's because I'm on 3001. It shouldn't be though. Okay, so in this case, let's just go through this. So Clerk issuer, let's go through. So you guys can feel free to read through that one as well, by the way, yeah, if you need it. So environment variables, we already pushed it over there, and on Clerk as well, Telegram stream. So we did add this one, the suitable parrot, Convex. I think it could be because I'm logged in on a different instance. I'm going to cut my other one that's running. I'm going to run this on 3000 because I just want to rule out one issue that could be. So this is now running on 3000. Let's go ahead and do that. In your Convex dashboard. No auth provider matching the given token. No price. Oh, demo gods, why do you do this to me? All right, let's go to. We have a token right here with the issuer. I'm missing something so simple right now. I can't for the life of me figure out. Let's do it again from a localhost over here. Let's try this one. So this is also experiencing the same. No, it's not. Let's try and log in from this account. I think something is missing in the live stream. That is correct. Something is missing in the live stream. We need to figure out what it is. So let's see if we log in here. Should be okay. Yes, I'm human. Okay, that's correct. We had the same issue here. Interesting. That's gonna no auth. Okay, I'm gonna debug this now. So I've screwed up somewhere. Interesting enough. So I want to show you this, to be fair, because that's interesting. I actually never have run into that issue. So I wonder what that is. So let's firstly just pop it in. Oh God, no. Convex. I've screwed up this. it cannot be. Is that auth config in the root directory? It's actually a very good question. Let's double check. It's in the right place. Let's restart our... Oh! That's my fault. We changed something drastic on this side, so we have to... No, we shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, anyway, let's try again. So I want to... Convex functions ready. Yeah. Polished Loris. Oh, we're in the wrong... Oh, no, sorry, it's a different one. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, come on. All right, let's do it. JWT templates. Convex. Okay. What I like to do, by the way, as well, little hack, is your npm run script. I like to change that to become a double command. So rather than having two things running like this, we cancel that one. And then I put an and npx convex dev. And then what we do is we run npm run dev and it starts both. You see, it also starts my convex in the background. Rewrite the auth config file. I agree with you. I agree with you. Let's get rid of it. Auth config is shafted, so let's do that again. So heading back over here. I think I know what it is. Auth.config.ts. Let's pop this domain. Like this is from my own code. Clerk front end API. I think we didn't make it next public. I think that's the... Yep, it is. No, it's not, because it shouldn't be there. Here we are. I mean, firstly, like invalid convex, auth config is missing. Environment variable is not set. So I want to show you this way as well, right? So I just want to absolutely make sure it gets set the right way. So you can see here, that is still the same suitable parrot one that we need. So I'm just going to grab it again to be absolutely sure. So we need to get that from here. Rewritten. Let's try again. Where's my code? Okay, Convex ready. There we go. Oh, that's my own no issue. This one here. So localhost. There we go. Okay. Oh, thank God. Okay, so I have a feeling it's making the URL, making the environment variable next public. But that's a very strange one. The file using, but you have Clerk JWT on the Convex side. No, that's right. So we had this obviously there, and then we changed it on the back end. But then I changed it afterwards to this name. Okay. Oh, we got past it. Thank God. That was freaking me out a little bit because I wasn't sure we're going to get there. All right, but yeah, that makes sense. All right. So back on it. Let me change the music up as well. I want to make it on Jay's playlist. I think we're going to do now for a little while. He needs to add tracks, guys, to his playlist. So there we go. This is Jay's playlist a bit. I want to get into a nice flow state now. And yeah, we got past the little hurdle. Cool. So in this case, if I click on this, we see our nice profile. I can sign out. and we have our full user flow. We're back. Okay. So log in one more time, and there you go. It's automatically logged me in because I already knew that I already had my authentication before. So now what I can do is go back, and you should see my little logged in person. There you go. Cool. Done. Very nice. Now the next step is where we get very interesting, because it moves very quick now, to be honest. Before you know it, we're gonna be running with this app. So we have the header. Let's build out the rest of the front page, the easiest part probably to go ahead and describe. We're gonna have a main section here, and this is the only place where I would be like, you know what, use a vibe code up if you want, right? But it's up to you, right? So in this case, there we go. And then in the main, I'm gonna have a bunch of styling that's gonna get us ready for what's gonna come. Now here, we've firstly got a background gradient. Okay, so you can pause the video and see for yourself what I'm doing with this background gradient. Right now, it's not going to show anything, but if I go to, let me start the other app on port 3001 so you guys can see. There you go. So you see this gradient right here? We're going to do something very cool. We're going to actually go ahead and, I don't think I did it. I don't know if I even use this gradient, you know. I think I got rid of this. Let's keep it for now. And then I'm pretty sure I changed this. Yeah. So we got the text, the main text, this block. Yeah, right. We're gonna have our div, and then we're gonna have our H1 inside of it with a bunch of styling. So here, the H1 basically goes from here to here. We have connect instantly with a break, and then we span chat smarter because I want to style this bit differently. And this is the interesting part. So obviously there's a bunch of styling rules here. Every time you see SM, everything is mobile first when we code, right? So in this case, text 5XL is what we expect to be on a mobile. Once it hits a small breakpoint, it'll go to text 7XL, and then the rest of the stuff will go ahead and get applied, like regardless, right? On mobile upward. It's only when you see this breakpoint. And then here we're doing something very cool. We have a background, but we're clipping it. So if I was to remove this right now, watch this, right? So if we went ahead and did this right now on 3000. Okay, you see that? Connect instantly, right? But then if I put background clip text, bam, it actually wraps around the text. Love the browser. What's it called? This is called the Arc browser, in case you're wondering, right? G Costa goes, the Clerk JWT is not being used. What's being used is the next one. Yeah, confusion because they use both. Yeah, you're right. That is right. Yeah, they changed both. That's very true. I think the ultimate thing that got it wrong here though was next public. Should have been at the start of it. Keep smashing that like button, guys. All right. So now we've got connect instantly, chat smarter. And then outside of that, I've got a P tag, which is the modern messaging platform that combines, you know, lightning fast chat, all that kind of goodness, right? Now, of course, the div itself, I'm going to give it a bit of spacing between the Y components. So max width 4XL, and that looks pretty good. Okay. Now, outside of this, I've got a start chatting for free button. So in this case, what we're going to use here is signed out, right? So this is another example. This is one from Clerk. So you can either use authenticated or you can use signed out and sign, and then the Clerk components like so. Now I was just importing them by hitting tab on the suggestions. And in a moment, we should see that button pop up when we're signed out, right? So if I was to sign out, now start chatting for free, we'll pull up the button. Okay, so that looks good. And then we're also gonna have some social proof here. Very straightforward, guys. If I'm honest, here we're basically just going ahead and having trusted by thousands of users worldwide. So here we're gonna have the social proof element. Again, this part is not that impressive, right? It's just literally you can pause the video and write that out. Like it just shows that, okay? And then obviously if you want to know about how Flexbox works, I have a whole video on my channel. Type in Sonny Sangha Flexbox. You're welcome. There's an ultimate game called Flexbox Froggy, which will teach you the ways of the Flexbox wizards, right? Glad goes, hey, it's from Uzbekistan, bro, huge fan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much, right? Do me a favor, smash that like button and enjoy the stream, right? And then we have the enhanced features section. So here we're going to have all of the features of the app basically just dunked out. So what is that? Effectively, that is, oh, I know why it's doing that. That's because I was doing this. Here you go. Yeah. So we need this bit. Everything you need to stay connected. Nice little divider. That divider is important for visual breaking, like as in for like breaking the visual chain. So in this case, we're going to add that divider here, like so. Just nice, neat little trick. Again, that's, you can pause the video. It's not gonna, you know, you'll get the code for that, right? So, and then everything you need to stay connected. So this part, what we're gonna do is we have a div with a bit of text. It's just an h2 and a p tag, like so, h2, p tag. And then you never want to have an apostrophe like this. It'll break later on. You want to always break out of your characters like that. And you can see everything you need to stay connected. You see how the apostrophe got substituted for that. Okay. Now, next up, you want to have your feature cards. So the feature cards are going to be a grid view, right? In this case, we've got our grid. Starts off as a grid column 1. As we hit a small breakpoint, it goes to 2, 3 columns, and so forth. Now, what does that look like? 3 columns on a big view, 2 view, 1 view. All right. Love you from Egypt. I appreciate you, Carlos. Thank you so much. All right. We've also got these feature cards. Now, the feature card is going to have an icon and it's going to have an instant messaging title and a description. So it's going to have 2 props. All right. So at this point now, we're going to have a couple of these, and then obviously I'll pop them in afterwards as in what they actually can do. So these feature cards are going to represent these. Okay. And we'll create this. This is called component based, you know, like work. And so in this case, we've got a feature card, we've got the icon, 3 props, icon, title, description, and all of these. Now, firstly, the logos themselves. So when you install Shadcn, you actually got something called Lucid. Lucid React is awesome. It has icons. So in this case, we pass those icons through. Now, of course, we don't have a feature card component. So head over to components, create a new feature card.tsx RFCE, and we have our feature card. Now, we have 3 props to this, right? We have the icon, which is a icon type. And then we have title, description, and so forth. Now this is of type Lucid icon. Why is this being very strange? So we don't need to rename these. This is renaming, by the way, right? So this just means we renamed icon to capital icon, and title and description just means it's not used at the moment. That's why it's freaking out. Okay. So then we start styling out the actual icon card. So this part is fairly straightforward. So I'm going to have it as, so it's a div with another div inside of it. And we literally render out the icon that we passed through with a bit of styling, and the H3 and the P tag with the title and the description. So this is our feature card component. This, we do not need to say use client because we want this to be server rendered. By default, it is server rendered, so we leave it. Okay. Now heading back over here, we import it like so, and then watch when the magic happens. We hit save and pow, we have them. Right, looks really nice. Right now the background is a weird color. What's going on with that? So it's because of this. So I want to do min height screen. That's actually not from here. That's from the layout, I believe. No, it's not from the layout. Maybe that is from here. Interesting. Somewhere I set the background white, and here I haven't got it. So we just did a BG white. You could see. Oh, there is a gradient. Oh, there is a gradient. Let's see it. So that is the gradient. They've just done it. No, that is the same gradient. I mean, that doesn't look exactly the same, but there is a gradient there. I can see it. It's very subtle. I probably screwed it up a little bit, but that is a gradient. Yeah. Cool. So next up, I want to, oh, that's why. No, well, that's right. Anyway, all right, we've got the feature cards down. And then of course you can have a footer. Now the footer really right now, I just have some placeholder information inside of there, and I have a call to action section. This bit really is not worth spending a lot of time on. I don't think it's important at all right now for what we're doing. I want to spend more time on building the actual app. So the CTA section is all of this part down here. So ready to transform, it's just a button with a few clicks and a footer, right? So I'm going to pop these in, and then you can literally pause the video and take notes of them if you really care that much about it, right? But I don't think it's that important to really spend that much time on it, to be fair. So here I'm going to pop in the following. So in this case, this is freaking out because of that. Sign up button is not defined. Let's pull that in. So I'm going to go back here, and we've added in these buttons over here. So just to show you guys, that's what it's looking like. And this is the code. So scrolling down, you can see for yourself. Pause the video whenever you want. Okay. And then we want to add a footer right in after the main. So the main ends here. The footer is going to look something like so. All right. So footer like so. And of course, just some dummy information. And that's how we get that bottom part looking like that. Right. So very, very sleek, easy to understand header, right? Now, of course, you can do whatever you want with this header. You know, you can, as in with whatever you want with this sort of background. The only thing I'm very baffled about is my colors are definitely different here. That's throwing me off a lot. I don't know why that is. I just wanted to change that quickly because it's going to bother me so much. We could do from dark blue. It's not in dark mode, so it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You see, like, that's the purple. So we changed it to white, and then we started from like 500. You can see like that would do it that way. I mean, yeah, you can really customize as much as you want, right? Go wild with your imagination with it, right? In this case, this one looks slightly different from this one. I'm not sure what I did different, to be fair, on that, but I mean, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But yeah, you can feel free to customize it as you wish, right? No, it's fine. Click on start chatting for free. Let's sign in, and we're going to implement the next section, the dashboard and all of that. All right, so now we're logged in. Dashboard is the next step. So before we continue on, the dashboard, the interesting part. So this is where we start implementing GetStream straight off the bat, because GetStream after this moment powers absolutely everything that we do, right? So we're going to need loads of different components from GetStream. So what we need to do is, you've already created your account from the earlier steps with GetStream. So heading over here, we already created our account. Make sure, again, you use the link in the description. It tells them that you are coming to stream from the Pub Farm. Okay, it allows us to do it forever for free, right? Eduardo goes, the way you are importing the icons is calling the whole library to load, and the client want to import only those icons separately. I am doing separately these ones. This is gonna effectively cherry pick them from, it doesn't actually call. You could do, I mean, like each individual one, but there's no need to. Next.js React smart enough to cherry pick and only use that. It doesn't actually use, otherwise you'd have like a million lines being pulled out like so, which is just, you don't need to do that. Yeah. Cool. So next up we have right now this is our current layout, right? Now I'm going to show you a little trick. So we actually have this notion of invisible folders. So why might this be useful? So that's a very good question, Eduardo. Thank you very much. And if you guys are wondering who I'm talking to, check the live chat in the description, and you'll see the description. Check the live chat in the replay, and you'll see there's a bunch of awesome people chatting away to me, right? So, 1 second. Okay, there we are. We're good. Okay, destroy the like button as well, guys. Right. So we're done with that. Now, next up, I'm going to create a folder, and I'm going to call this one app. Now, you could call this signed in as well, I guess. We could even say, yeah, like signed in. Let's maybe call it signed in, right? Because this is actually invisible. This has no effect on the route. The parentheses around it dictate that, right? So this is known as, I think it's called grouped folders, right? But this is, we use this when we want to have a special layout that applies to all the folders or routes beneath this. So this is the global layout. It's going to affect everything beneath it, including the stuff under here. What I want to do now is I want to have inside of here a layout.ts. And this is for only the signed in contents. Okay, .tsx. This is going to be called layout. And then what we're going to do here, get rid of that. It's going to be a client component. We have a bunch of stuff happening in here. And the layout naturally has children that renders out like so. Okay, so we obviously want to have a dashboard page here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a / dashboard or folder. So in this case, sign in is going to apply to everything here, but the dashboard page will live like so. RFCE. Let's call this the dashboard, right? Now, firstly, we should see a dashboard pop up. Very good. That means your layout is not breaking anything. And you can test this by doing something like this. You can say H1, hello. And you see how that is definitely passing through our layout. So that's a good way of testing when you're working with this kind of stuff, right? You got the dashboard here. Now I want to do something a bit cool, right? So in this case, what if I tried to jump to the dashboard when I wasn't signed in? So let's go ahead and do this sign out. And let's go ahead and click on like / dashboard now. So I'm going to try and force my way there. Well, that's not good. You don't have to have manual code, which makes sure that you can get through, but you shouldn't be allowed to get to the dashboard yet. So what do? We're going to add in in the middleware. I'm going to dictate a protected route. So I'm going to create a variable called is authenticated route. We're going to use something called a route matcher. We're going to say anything which is / dashboard with anything beyond that is going to be an authenticated route. And then inside of the Clerk middleware, we have access to these we have access to these inner functions. So we have auth and the request itself. What we can do is we can just basically say if it's an authenticated route, the request that we're trying to pass through. So every time obviously the user uses the app, it's going to run this, right? Then we're going to protect. Now, what does that do? Well, let's hit a refresh now and see what happens. If you ever tried to go to an authenticated route, it will throw me to a login screen. And if I try and log in now, it will take me to the screen that I was trying to go to. So in this case, boom, now I have access to the dashboard. So that means everyone at the middleware level is not going to have access. So unless they're logged in, which is amazing. Okay. So now we have that done. Let's go ahead and update our layout. This is where it gets very powerful, guys. So now we're inside of our signed in layout. And this is where you need to pay attention because this is where loads of the magic stuff is going to happen now. Okay. So step 1, we need to synchronize the user who is logged in to our Convex dashboard. All right. So Convex dashboard, let's go to our data. We have no tables right now. So before we even do anything, we need to create a table, right? So we're going to go to our Convex and we're going to create a schema, right? .ts. Now the schema will look like this. So we do a define schema call from Convex server. We have these values we can go and do. And we want a users table. And we're going to define the table as a user ID, a name, email, and an image URL. And then we're going to have these searchable indexes by user ID, by email. That just means that we're preparing the database so we can quickly search it. Now, already we will see a table, not yet actually, it'll come in a second, because we need to go ahead and actually use that. So it was, they will use that. In this case, we've got the users table. Yeah, that's right. So you see I created it here and then automatically what's happening is down here. See it says as soon as I hit save. So if I hit save here, you see it prepares Convex functions. So it's always listening, right? So as in it knows, then it went ahead and deployed the source code, which is this, to our Convex backend, right? So now we're ready to effectively use that. Okay, so that's the step. So what I want to do now is I want to create a few queries and mutations which allow me to update that database. So what I like to do is I get the name of the database. I'm going to create a file which is connecting to that. Right now I need two things. I need the query and mutations from our generated server. Now what is that? Well, this is automatically created for us, and basically allows us to make sure that all of our work that we do is type safe, right? So step one, we're going to go ahead and get a user by user ID, get a user by clerk ID. We're going to say export const get user by clerk ID, and it's a query. And there's a couple of things that happen here. So the first one is we provide an argument, right? So what's the argument we're going to give it? This is going to be a user ID, and we're going to say it's going to be a string. Okay. The second argument is going to be, this one is going to be a handler. Okay, so the handler, and this one gives us the following. So I need to close this up. It gives us the context and the arguments, right? Now, because we're actually using the Convex connector that we set up earlier, this one, we can actually at this point check if the user is even logged in. So you can actually go ahead and do it like this. You can actually check if the user is logged in at that level. There's a couple of things. Vedang browser goes, which browser are you using? I'm using Arc browser. Okay. But in this case, I just want to do a very easy search term. So firstly, inside of the arguments, I'm going to ES6 destructuring, get the user ID. If there is no user ID, I want to do nothing. I want to return. Okay. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and return the database call like so. Context.db, query all of the users table with the index by user ID. Remember we set up an index here where we pass in the user ID, and you can see I'm passing in the user ID that we have here, and I'm querying against it. So it's checking equivalency here, and then it gives me back the first result. So this is very simple. Okay. And then we have two more. We have a upsert user, which allows me to create or an update a user, essentially synchronize with Clerk. Okay. So this one is going to look like the following, and then I'm going to explain it as I pop it in. So here we have upsert user mutation, takes a few arguments, which are all of the user's details: user ID, name, email, image URL. And then we are going to go ahead and put the handler. So the arguments we're going to extract here, again, user, names, email, image URL, these ones right here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to firstly check, is the user already in the database? So we query for them. If the user is existing, we patch them, right? And then we return the existing user's ID. Otherwise, we insert the user into the user's database with the following arguments. Okay. Also, I want to mention this because I get this comment quite a few times every now and then. Some people obviously say it's promotional, this kind of stuff, and nobody uses this in actual production. Guys, that's rubbish. We've used this kind of tech in production ourselves, period. So most of the time, if you ever hear negative comments online, this is an advert, this is a sponsorship, whatever. Yeah, it's a sponsorship, but it doesn't mean you don't use it in production. So the guy who said, I don't know, es ist mir worst, shut up. There we go, facts, right? And then he's blocked from the chat. I want to make that very apparent, even on the replay. If you see and you wonder, is whatever Sonny does in production, guys, we build B2B SaaSes. Yes, we use stuff in production, and I use things like Clerk. I use things like Stream to handle the video calling aspects. I do. So there you go. And I'll say it on my stream over and over. Okay. The next one, search users by name or email. Let's do that one. Okay. Again, same thing. We have a search term, which is the arguments for your string. And then we have the handler. Okay. So the handler is the next one. Like so. Now, the handler here, firstly, we need to trim the search term. So where is this going to come into effect? Remember when we were actually creating a chat and we were starting a chat based on when we start a new chat, we basically go ahead and select which users we want to talk to. If we was to put in an empty search term or we had spaces, that should not work. So we're going to basically go ahead and return an empty array at that point, and then manage it gracefully on the front end. Here we're going to normalize search. We're going to do to lowercase. And then we're going to get all the users and filter them by the name or email, collecting their search terms. So in this case, what we do is we do context database query users, and collect means get all of them basically, right? And then I'm going to filter out all of the ones where we're matching either the name or the email. And I'm going to slice it to 20 for performance reasons, right? So all users filter where the users match, like again, lowercase and email, lowercase. And we go ahead and do a comparison here. And we're doing an OR pipe. So it's either this or this, right? So you want to go ahead and either one of those two. And then we slice the first 20 results for performance, okay? Now again, you could even do it here as well. I think you've got a slice there. I mean, I think there's actually a limit call, dot limit. I mean, that's going to come back with an array. Anyway, well, we can do that there, yeah. But anyway, for now, there you go, okay? Daniel goes, so you're not going to make React builds anymore. This is a React build, guys, right? When we're using Next.js, but there's no benefit to using React over this for an app like this. Absolutely not, right? So destroy that like button, please. We're almost at 200 likes, right? So there we have it. Search users, we have upsert user, and we have get user by Clerk ID. Cool. So we have our schema down. What you'll also find is in functions, you can see that those have been added to the backend. So these are now cloud functions in Convex, right? So what we're now going to do in our layout for signed in my code that I wrote before, I called it just the app folder, but it's actually signed in now. We're going to have a sync block, right? So every time I'm signed in, I actually want it to synchronize the user. So in this case, imagine the following: user sync wrapper. Okay, we're going to create this component, user sync wrapper.tsx. Now, what is that, right? Well, that's actually going to be a custom component of ours. So in this case, it's going to be a client component, and it's going to be have children. It's going to wrap like so, right? The main thing here that I want you to pay attention to is we're actually going to go ahead and do a couple of cool things here. So watch how I'm basically going ahead and synchronizing. So first things first, I need to know who's logged in. So we're going to use user from Clerk Next.js. We have our piece of state for when it's loading, and we have an error, right? Piece of state. So again, if we have any errors going on, the next thing, I need to do a mutation at some point inside of this function. So what we do is we use the use mutation hook. We need to call the API, and you see the generated one that gets generated for us. And then we have create or update user. So in this case, we have the ability to do a mutation if we need it. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, there's a few things that we need to do. Firstly, afterwards, we want to return just the children in a React fragment. If for whatever reason there is an error, then I'm going to simply return the following. I'm going to have like some kind of error statement pop out on the screen, which will look like so. Please try restarting the app, contact customer support. That's a problem happened with the sync, right? So that's what happens if there's any error at any point. We're also going to have a loading state. So for the loading state, if it's the user isn't loaded, or so in this case, if the user is not loaded or it's loading, then we're going to add a loading spinner. I'm going to show you that because we're actually going to use this later on. So loading spinner.tsx RFCE. And then this loading spinner, again, you can do however you want, right? I'm again, for the loading spinner, all this is in short is a very, very simple just loader, right? So you can do this many ways. You can use an external library. I've just created a custom one here. And again, you can feel free to copy it if you wish. All it does is it takes a few props, size, message, class name, and show message. And it has a few sizes, small, medium, and large, which apply different Tailwind classes with different paddings. And then I'm basically going ahead and passing in the base classes plus the ones based on if we passed in our own class name, as well as the container paddings. And then this will basically load out a loader if we need it. So not that bit, sorry, it was loading spinner, yeah. And then, so we have the loading spinner, which will be in the center, and then we have an inline spinner, which will be next to something. And why do we need an inline spinner? That's going to be very useful for when we go ahead and do the portion where we have the add user to a chat. Okay, so again, you can pause the video. All of the code is in the GitHub repo as well, right? So we have the loading spinner there. Next up, we have the main bulk of it, right? Which is called the sync user block. So here we're going to say const sync user is in, and then we're going to use actually create a callback function here, right? Zotan, yo, Jay, Sonny, I'm always here to support you. I appreciate you so much, right? So in this case, we've got use callback, and then this is going to be an asynchronous block, okay? Now for a callback, we need to have some dependencies, right? In this case, the dependencies are going to be user and create or update user. Yep, that's right. And then firstly, we're going to check, is there a user ID? Now use callback is a nice way to memorize a function call. So in this case, you don't actually need the use callback, I believe, or automatically optimize in React 19 onwards, but that's only with the compiler. I'm not going to get into that now. But in this case, we have a try catch block, right? Now in this try catch block, we're going to do we're basically going to set loading to true in the beginning. So set loading to true. And if something goes wrong, well, at the end of it, we're always going to set, then we set loading to false. So no matter what the outcome is of this try catch block, afterwards, it will go back to false. You could use a start transition hook as well. Up to you, right? In the beginning as well, we're also going to set the error to be reset to 0. Oh, sorry, oops. All right. If there is an error at any point, we're going to console error it out, and I'm also going to set the error over here. Okay. In this case, this is just the error. There we go. Okay. Do slow vote goes holla Sonny. What's up? Good to see you here. Now, this is the next step. Okay. So we're actually going to go ahead and firstly, I'm going to change up. So step 1 is we're going to save the user to Convex, right? So we're going to pass the user ID from the user who's logged in. The full name, if that don't exist, first name, if that don't exist, email, if that don't exist, we'll say unknown user, right? And so forth. Same with the picture. And then we need something called a token provider function. Now, why do we need this part, right? Well, this part essentially is where we connect to stream. So before we can move any more forward, go to lib, and we need to create something called a stream.ts. This is essentially how we connect to stream. Okay, so we need to install stream chat. So there's a couple of things first. So if we go over to get stream, we've got the React audio SDK, or in this case, we go to resources, and you've got a bunch of stuff here. Okay, so you've got video and audio docs, chat messaging. So let's just go to chat messaging for a second. And you got the UI components, the client. If we go to client right now, you can see like React introduction, npm install stream. So if I go back to my code, I do Command J and I split the terminal. Have I got another one open? Oh yeah, split it, that's fine. And then I'm gonna do pm install stream chat, and that will go ahead and install it. And now we have stream chat. And now next public stream API key. Now I don't think we have our API key set. So we need to set our API key. Okay. So for the stream API key and the API key secret, we're going to need two things. So firstly, I need this one, the public stream key. And secondly, I also need a secret key. That's a very good question, Thomas. So he goes, Sonny, is there any way to check if the user is authenticated inside a HTTP function at Convex, just like you did in the front end? Yeah, very good question. Thank you for asking it. So you'll see here in the Convex docs, you can actually do it here. You want to go ahead and use this call. So const identity, context auth, get user identity. And then if identity is equal to no, you can throw an error. So at the Convex level, you can actually do it. And that's why we have to use the higher order components to make sure you're also authenticated at that level, which is why I recommend you use the authenticated parent component checks instead of the signed in or signed out ones from Clerk, because Clerk is the outer wrapper, Convex is the inner wrapper. It's safer to check the inner wrapper, which is already connected to the Clerk, if that made sense. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. All right. So now we need to get these two keys. So how can I get to your level 1 coding? Just have persistence is my biggest bit of advice, guys. Have persistence, right? We're going to click on create app, and don't give in to the whole vibe coding is going to kill everyone situation, right? Let's go ahead and do Telegram. Stick with me. Stick around, right? That's how you get good. All right. Thank you so much, Freestyle Engineer. I appreciate you. He goes, hey man, big fan. Thank you for the contents. I feel like I know who that is. Telegram stream. Let's go into this. And then chat and video storage location. You can choose any of these locations. In this case, you can do US, Ohio. I'm in Dubai, so let's do Mumbai. One second. You know what? Just do US. I'm not going to mess around with this. All right. Environment, production, development. Right now we're in development. We're going to keep on development. And now we should get some keys shortly. So we've got a key here and a secret. So number one is the next public. Again, next public means on the front end renders, it will go ahead and be accessible, but only if there's next public at the front, appending, stream or prepending the environment variable. Otherwise, these are only accessible on the server renders or server components. Okay, now obviously secret is very secret. You don't want to show that. I'm going to invalidate everything anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and pop it in, right? So we have our stream API key secret and so forth. Now we have this. So now if I want to access our stream chat, we can initialize a stream chat client like so, and then we can do it like this, right? Now, while we're here, I also need an admin one for the server, okay? So in this case, I need one that has admin rights. So stream server, let's call it .ts. Or it's more like the admin, but still, okay? Now for this one, exact same thing, except this one, we pass in the API secret key. So this one has privileges essentially to, go ahead and like write, delete, or all that kind of stuff. And then the stream only has read privileges. So this is the server instance. You're passing in the API secret key. So this one is only to be used on the server, and this one is only to be used on the front end. Okay. So now that we have these two things, we can go back. And we need to go back to our user sync wrapper. Yeah. So step 2 is connect the user to stream. So connect user to stream. Let's get stream the service, right? So what we need to do is we need to say await stream client. And again, lib stream. Now we have it. And then I can pass in the user's information. So pass in user's information like so. And then we need something here. Now this one, if you see, it's actually a user token or provider. Okay. So here I'm going to say token provider. So like so. So it'll be token provider. And then we can end it off. Now, I want to highlight two things here. One, if you're developing, you can actually go ahead and use a stream client dev token to go ahead and just kind of give yourself a token at this point if you need it. Right. So if you say you didn't want to do the next step, but I'm not going to half measure it. I want to show you how to do it the full way. Okay. So if you do want to go ahead and do it the full way, then you basically go ahead and do this. So get rid of that. And we're going to create a provider. Now, what does that mean? Right. Well, it's going to be an inline function at the top. So we can do it. We can do it above, to be fair. Well, it has to be inside here at least. So in this case, I'm going to put it inside here. I'm going to pop it over here. Let's do const token provider equals a new asynchronous function like so. And then I'm going to say if there is no user ID, return an error. So I'm going to say throw a new error, user ID is required, right? Or user is not authenticated is more, user is not authenticated, right? And then next we're going to say const token equals await create token. And this is our first example. Oh God, create token is our first example of a server action, which are incredibly powerful. I'll show you how we do that in a moment. All right, so we've got to here. Yeah, that's it. Now, create token is going to be our first example of a server action. Now, server actions are incredibly powerful things from Next.js, right? So this is why I preach it. Next.js is just sick. Use it, right? So in this case, let's go ahead and do actions. And then we're going to create our first server action called create token. It's actually our only one today, right? Now, in order to depict that it's a server action, you're going to do use server. And what does this save us from doing? Well, before, whenever we had to have any kind of server interaction, we had to create an API endpoint, ping over to the API endpoint, come back, do the whole request flow, right? So you had a REST API call out, get post request, whatever it may be, pull data back. It's long. It's over the top for like one thing, right? If we want to do a server interaction. So instead, the guys over at Next.js very nicely went ahead and made server actions. So right now, instead of doing all that long flow, we can essentially go ahead and do the following. We can say export asynchronous function. We can say create token, user ID string. And now what we can do is we can say const token equals server client. So stream, so remember the server client with the stream API key access. And the reason why I can see it is because this is a server call, which means this is never on the client, which means you can use secret keys, right? Create token. And that will give us back a token, right? And what I'd recommend you can even do is if you want for debugging purposes, you can just say create a token for user, okay? And at this point, go ahead and pull that in. And now this token provider, every time the stream client needs a token or it needs to refresh it or whatever, it would just call on that create token. So it handles all of the refresh token logic, all of that good stuff as well, right? Now, I'm also going to have a disconnect user. Now, bear in mind, none of these are getting called yet, right? So this is just a function that's not in use, okay? And the same is going to be for the disconnect. It's a use callback where we try and we basically go ahead and say disconnect the user. And then if it failed, disconnect it for what reason? Now, where do we actually call it? Well, this is where we use a use effect, right? So we have a use effect like so. And then we have the dependencies. Now the dependencies that we're going to basically re-render this use effect on. Use effects run whenever the component mounts, as well as whenever any of the dependency items in the dependency array change. So if any of these things, user is loaded, sync user or disconnect user change, then we're going to go ahead and run the code that inside of this block. Firstly, if the user is not loaded, we're going to return. And secondly, if there is a user, then of course I'm going to sync user, right? Else I'm going to disconnect the user because the user is not connected, right? Or they logged out or whatever the case. And we're going to set his loading to false as well. Okay. And then after all of that, we're also going to do a cleanup function. Now, what is a cleanup function? Let's say this changed 10 times. Every time it ran, if we didn't do a cleanup, then the side effects of the previous run could leak into the next round of running, and it can cause a lot of damage, right? So effectively, when it changes and it runs, it should clean up whatever it did, right? Effectively. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have a disconnect user call. And what does this mean? And we're only going to do that if there is a user, right? So now if anything changed and it was in the middle of a sync user, it would first jump to a disconnect before it synchronized again, right? So before it ran the code again. And that's very important, by the way. Yeah. So in this case now we've done this right. See, look, syncing user data, boom. Then we're in the dashboard. So if I hit a refresh, loading and syncing user data, bam. And now inside of our Convex, we should see our first user synchronized, which should be me. There we go. Sonny Sangha, image, name, user ID. Boom. So every time the user interacts with the app now, bam, he's going to get synchronized. And as you can see, we've got a nice little loader. That is awesome. And you can see how it's wrapped on the layout at the layout level. So that gives us a lot of power, to be fair. Okay, next step, we're going to have stream chat. Okay. So obviously inside of this next area, we're going to have, so if I was to log into the actual app now, here, you can see we have the actual chat immediately. So as soon as I log in the app, I have access to the entire chat, which means this layout is going to have some higher order components, which are going to give me access to the stream APIs, right? But otherwise, it's going to be, I'm going to have to code it all up from scratch, which no, we're not going to do. Okay. So the first thing I need to do is import stream chat react. Now, you see we haven't installed it. So if we go back to the resources, chat messaging docs, and let's have a look. Let's go to, you can either do React UI components. Let's see if that was the one. Installation. Here we are. npm install stream chat react. Right. Now we've already done that, so I can just go ahead and do the same thing. pm install. Install that into our project. There you go. And then you can click and get started. And then you can see where I get this logic from. So effectively, they've got a token provider, user data, API key, and then you can see they've got their wrapping the entire thing in the chat, channel list, channels, and so forth. So this is where I'm getting it from in case you get confused. And now stay with me, okay? So we have a chat with a stream client. The stream client we pull in from our lib stream, okay? And that wraps everything around it. Now, there you go. So at this point already, you want to check to see if the app is working. Wouldn't it be if you update database and every reconnect and only fetch the data on first render? Yep, you absolutely can optimize. Like again, I'm showing it at a single level, but if I include all these kind of things or changes, it's going to be very, very hard to explain and all of that stuff. So I'm just trying to keep it as simple as I can, right? So we have the chat here and you can see it's loading and we get through. But yes, you can cache, you can optimize, you can do so many things with this, right? Yeah, you can really go far with this. But thank you so much, Thomas. Don't apologize. Very good questions, right? So the next step is you see this sidebar. We need it, right? And I want it to look clean. I don't want to build it either. So I'm going to go to Shadcn, go to components, blocks. And then we go down to sidebar. Now you can see a bunch of sidebars. I think the one I used was this one. Yeah. MPX sidebar. And you can see, look, there we go. This is definitely this one. Yeah. MPX Shadcn add sidebar or form. Whoa, stumbled my words there. Right. And then we're going to go ahead and paste it in. MPX Shadcn latest add sidebar. Let that do its little magic. And then we're going to go yes. Now, obviously, I'm on the, of course, on the demo, I'm on the wrong version, but it won't actually break anything for now. But yeah, you can go ahead and do that if you want. You can change your version using NBM. So if I'm in NBM LS right now, I can show you. Sometimes I don't want, you can see that I'm on 18, but I can change it to 22 by just saying NBM use 22 and so forth. So you can feel free to do that. If you don't know about NBM, get to know. It's very good, especially for production environments. Okay. Oh no, what did I do? What the hell did I do? Did I close it by accident? Yeah, I did. Damn it. I don't know what happened there. All right. So you cannot have two parallel pages that render to the same thing. Where have I got two parallel pages that render to the same thing? Dashboard. Oh yeah. So when I added the sidebar, it actually created a dashboard page with this inside of it, with all of this sidebar logic. So what you want to do is actually you can do this to make life easier if you want. What I recommend you do here is don't delete it yet. So what I want you to do is take the sidebar that they have, this one, cut it, and then delete that, and go to your dashboard page, go to your layout, and effectively it will be underneath the chat. So we have so the children will actually get rendered elsewhere, so we don't want this. So inside of chat, then we paste in that, and obviously we're going to clean this up a massive amount. We're going to pull in the following, like so. App sidebar, we can import separator, we can import from components UI separator, and then breadcrumbs we don't want, we can get rid of those. And then this has header, so we're going to change up a bunch of stuff, by the way, right? And then where we want the actual children to come in is sidebar inset, so this bit. Okay, so we have a header right now which looks like this. I want to change it to the following. So I want to change this to a sidebar trigger separator, and then I want a link, a Next.js link with dashboard saying beam. We can refresh that now. It should be fine. And you can see already, I mean, it's got a bunch of rubbish there. You can see already that we've got some form of working. That's already awesome, right? So, and in this case, we have just these like empty boxes inside of the actual sidebar inset, which we don't necessarily need, which is this right now. So that's actually that niceness that's rendering out. We're going to throw the children there instead. So you see where you're seeing that kind of outline? That is going to be where we put the children. So in this case, the dashboard. Now you can see what effectively we've done. So follow that very carefully, what I just did, because it's very, very important that you do. Okay. So at this point now, you can see that we've got this. Looks stunning. Now this is effectively the page. So now you see how clean it is. We can just change the page, and we always are wrapped in this sidebar layout, which is this is the way to do it. It's the cleanest way like to do it. And then you've got clean logic, separation, everything, and then your layout is boom, clean, right? And obviously you can go as far as to abstract it as you want with different components and so forth. So next up, we are going to do fine. So we've got a dashboard in app sidebar. There's a few changes I wanted to do. So we can come to this afterwards. Actually, this is going to be, we're going to have the start new chat functionality here as well. Okay, now we can do it now. All right, so right now we have this, which is a huge sample data thing going on over here. We're going to get rid of that. So go ahead and just cut all this out. That's all of the dummy stuff. So you see all of this. If I hit save, it gets rid of it. So that was all those extra sample things. Now here where you have data, so instead of that, I'm going to have in our sidebar menu, I'm going to have a button which says start new chat. So let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. So a button which says start new chat. Let's go ahead and layer render. And then we're going to have a channels list rendered out below. So in this case, you can see that start new chat. And then where we have the documentation part, I want to change that as well. So sidebar menu item here right now, we have all this stuff. I don't want any of this. I'm going to change this for a welcome back with the user button. So this is getting swapped out for this, which is our user button. And then we have the user, which is going to be, need to make this a client component because I need to get access to the user. So we can use the user hook like so. And now just like that, welcome back. Welcome back, Sonny. And then you got the user button. Okay. And then you got the start chat button. Okay, cool. So next up, we want to channel list. Okay. Now channel list is a interesting one because effectively this is where I love GetStream. Okay. So I want you to pay attention here because GetStream's power comes through really quick on this build because you'll be like, hang on a minute, GetStream just handled the whole thing. Jay, are you Sonny? No, I mean, look guys, that's Jay typing. Jay mods the chat. Yeah. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and import. Are we importing already? No. Yeah. Import channel list. And they genuinely handle a bunch for us, right? So in this case, you got the channels list here. So channel list like so. And this accepts a bunch of things. It's got sort, filter, options as well, right? So what are these things, right? Well, firstly, we have got the user already. So I'm going to do a few things here. We're going to have a couple of filters where basically what I want to do here is I want to filter out the channel list for the channels that you can see, all the channels which I'm a part of. Okay. So this is, we can pull from stream chat. So we've got three things here that I need you to pay attention to. The filters, it's the channel filters. And again, all of this is on their documentation. We have the members. Am I a member or is the user ID that I'm passing in here, is that found inside of the members? Basically, it's going to go through, filter out all the members for the user ID, a match. And then we're going to have two types of chats that we're going to filter for: messaging and team. Now, if we look inside of GetStream, the the main area, you will see inside of apps, for example, Telegram, if you see in a video and audio, I think it was activity, no, chat messaging, yeah, you will see roles and permissions. No, it wasn't this one. It was channel types. Look, messaging and team. For this one, team I've made as a group chat. You can give it different permissions. And then for messaging, you can do a one-on-one chat. So that's the kind of power behind GetStream. You can actually customize it at that level. So we're including both of those. Then we're going to have presence is true, which is like the whole typing indicators. Are they online? All that stuff to state. And then we also got this sort here with the last message showing first, right? So it showed the last message at the top. Now I'm going to pass those through. So let's pass that stuff in. So the sort, the filters, and that. And then we want an empty status indicator. So right now that looks nasty. That doesn't look nice, right? What we can do is we can tap into the empty state indicator argument, this one, and we can pass in our own JSX, right? So in this case, I've just popped in a ready to chat message, right? Which is a lot cleaner. And it's just got an emoji in the middle, right? So ready to chat. The conversations will appear here once you start chatting with others. And of course, we're going to have a start a new chat, and then the chat will come in here. Okay. So super, super clean, right? And you guys can see for yourself that the whole thing works. Okay. So we've got the sidebar done, looking pretty cool. And obviously start a new chat we will build. Next up, let's go into the actual chat. So the page.tsx. Now for the page, this is where it honestly will come together. Like you'll blow your mind how fast this comes together. Because I was like amazed at how powerful it can be, GetStream. So for the page, we need a couple of things. So firstly, this is going to be a highly interactive app. So we need it to be a use client page. And then I'm going to have a few things. So so then I'm going to have the user, the router, a few things. I'll explain each one. Clerk is the user, the router. If I want to route the user to another page, use chat context, really important, and use sidebar. It comes from our sidebar. Now, this is the user. This allows me to send the user to another page. This is the chat context that we're in. I can set an active channel. If I was to click on one of these different side things or whatever, I can go ahead and access those and do things with it, right? And then we have set open as well. So if I was to click on, for example, a chat or whatever, I can set the sidebar to be open or whatnot, yeah? Now, nice one, Preslove. 100%, I agree. You got to commit many hours in my and also mentorship. Mentorship makes the biggest difference. Every single time I was leveling up in, so yeah, okay, so we have a question here. I'm going to take a quick breather with this one. He says, for example, I started learning JavaScript from scratch today and I'm totally newbie in coding. After giving how much months to normal JavaScript, can I start learning Next or React? My advice would be start learning JavaScript using all of the resources available. Use AI to be your personal tutor that you can constantly ask questions to and so forth. Use online tutorials all over the place. There's a million different JavaScript tutorials out there. Now, very quickly, in my opinion, you should get onto React because then you will understand the React fundamentals. And then once you're pretty confident with React, I have a whole React Basics 101 series you can get for free. If you go onto popreact.com/course and just scroll down, you can literally get the React Basics 101 for free. That will teach you a lot of the basics. Once you know the basics of React, then I would tack on Next.js and start to kind of understand where it fits in as a framework and how it works for React. And then honestly, give yourself time. And what do I mean by this? Commit to many, build projects. That means like, that's what I do. I build projects online so you guys can literally practice, and understand. One project might teach you how a use effect works. I also have modular content on the channel, so you can feel free to watch those and binge it out. But you really want to go ahead and give it. Don't put a set time limit on it. Like after 3 months, I have to go ahead and do this or do that. But my number one piece of advice, by far, I still do it to this day. Put yourself in mentorship scenarios. Every single time I elevated in my coding ability, I had mentors around me who was teaching me from, I could ask questions to, I could do everything. Now you have AI, which is a very good personal tutor, but it's not a mentor. in any shape or sense. It will help you, but it won't be the guidance you need to truly level up to the point that you're trying to go to. In my opinion, that is where a community or a course, that's why I built Zero to Full Stack Hero. It's not to sell you right now. It's just to tell you straight up, I needed a way to mentor students. That's where we do it. So yeah, so basically Preslov really put it well, right? And he goes, I highly recommend Sonny's courses. Yeah, for feel free, popreact.com/course, and also check out all of the content on YouTube. All of it is free on YouTube. And then of course, step up into the course once you're ready. Right. Thank you so much, Preslov, because the amount of dedication you, Sonny, and Jay spend and give out, amazing. I appreciate you guys so much. It means everything, you guys. So we have this, the dashboard. Obviously, we have all of these things here. Now, the next step is, if there is a channel, we need to go ahead and render out the channel. So if there is a channel, oh no, so actually, I'm going to do it this one. What's it here? Return. We don't even do that. I'm going to do a ternary. You could do a ternary, or you could do, I think the reason why I don't want to do the other way here is I'm going to have a flexbox with a few things inside of it right now. So flexbox with a dashboard. And then here I'm going to say, if there's a channel, then we're going to render this, else we're going to render that. So it's if else, right? Now, if there is no channel selected, I'm going to say no channel selected. So here I will say no channel selected. And then here, just to get rid of the error for now, I'm going to say channel just right. Okay. So in this case, look, we have no channel. Select a chat from the sidebar to start a new conversation. Obviously, we don't have any channel yet. So that's why we don't see anything. But if we did have a channel, we should be prepared for it. Now, of course, remember the documentation when we saw the different things? I think it was here. Channel, window, channel header, messages, message input, and so forth. I will show you now. So where we have the channel, instead of this, we do channel from stream chat. And then we have the window itself, right? And we have the thread outside of the window. The thread is to make sure the WebSockets and all that stuff is listening, right? We have window, and then we have a thread. Okay. Thread is a self-closing component. Window comes from stream chat. This comes from stream chat react. Okay. So I'm just double checking it was stream chat react. Yeah, I'm glitching out. Okay. There we had it. Yeah. So we have the window and then the thread. Now inside the window is where we have what we wanted. So in this case, I'm gonna have a div, boom. And this right now, what we're creating is this window. This is the window. Okay. Now, if there is more than one member, so in this case, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to say here, channel header. So that's a component that's pre-built. Again, pre-built components, amazing, right? So if the member count is 1, then you're the only one in the chat because someone else might have left. So everyone else has left this chat. Otherwise, it will show the channel header. Channel header by default looks something like this. Very, very nice. Shows the number of members, who's online, the person you're chatting to, and so forth, right? Now, after that, we're going to have a div. So outside of this, here, we're going to have a div like so. And then here, I'm going to have a button with a video call. This is going to be this, and this is going to be from the seed. And we don't have this function yet. Okay. So for now, I'm just going to create an empty handler, which just says calling. Okay. Like so. We're going to have a video calling button, and then we're going to have the same thing for handle or leave chat. Okay. This one from the seed. And again, let's create a dummy handle leave chat. Okay. So again, I'm just making these two buttons now. And believe it or not, guys, that is enough with the message list. So after that, we want to have two things. We want to have the message list. So we want to see all the messages. Bam. That's how we do it. We literally just have message list. And then I'm going to have a sticky bottom div, which surrounds the message input. And just like that, we actually have built that entire chat, believe it or not. And we'll get there because I'll show you how we can create a chat, and then you'll be able to see for yourself that we actually did it. All right. But it's that crazy that we just built this whole thing without realizing. Okay, so this works. Like this is what we just built. All of this, everything, even this, the threading and everything. So that's what the thread is here. Oh, so sorry, I thought the thread was, that's what the thread, I thought it was something else. Like that, yeah, I was wondering where that was. But if you want to style it up and put the thread above, if you're on a, depending on where you are and so forth. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. That drove me crazy, to be fair, actually. But yeah. So at this point now, we need to do start new chat, because I need to build that flow so we can actually have chats render out here. And then if I click a chat, it will go ahead and render out here. Kawan King says, is this live? 100%. I'm live right now. Okay, so let's do the cool part now. So in the layout, we had in the app sidebar, we had a create new, start new chat button. Okay. So in the layout, in the app sidebar, we had a start new chat button. Now here, what I want to do is I want to have a new chat dialog. And you're probably wondering, what is that? Well, I effectively want something like this. I want this dialog to pop up. Okay. And then I want to have all the dialog behavior. So a modal effectively. So what am I going to do? Shadcn has us covered here. So if we go to Shadcn components and we go to dialog, click it. This is where we get this behavior. Okay. So step one, we can add the dialog. So Command J, pop that in like so. Okay. This will go ahead and install the dependencies, do what we need to do. And we're not done yet. Okay. So don't think it was that easy. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and create a new chat dialog.tsx. Okay. Now in here, what I want you to do is go ahead and do the following. So we're going to create our component, and this is going to have its, you know, instead of that, we can just do React children nodes. And then this is going to be a client component, because obviously it's on the client. And just for now, I'm going to just pop an empty fragment in with the children like so. Okay, so this is effectively our starting point, new chat dialog. And then we can just go ahead and pop that in like so. And you can see if I click this, we shouldn't have any error. Okay, it's fine. So it's just rendering out children. Cool. Now, this is where it gets very cool. This is where we actually do quite a lot of stuff inside of it. Okay, so I'm going to need a bunch of preparation here. So I'm going to pop these in to save us some time. We're going to have a open for the state, set selected users, where basically I need to know which users are inside here or not. So I need to basically go ahead and doc. It actually refers to the Convex schema. So this actually makes sure it's type safe and it's the user type. Then we have use create chat, which I don't have yet. So that's going to be a custom hook. And then we have the use user hook. And then we have the use chat context hook. So we're going to need to create the use create new chat hook. Okay. So I'm going to create a custom hook as well today. So we're going to have the hook. So we already added the use mobile one for us when it created this. So we're going to use create new chat.ts. Now this hook, quite a big hook to be fair, but it's fine. We're going to go ahead and do the following. Okay. So we're going to firstly import it like so. And then we're going to take three. So we're going to have an internal function firstly. And then I'm just trying to see where I ended this one. So we need a create new chat function first. I think does that need to be in here? So let's have a const create new chat function. This is going to look like the following. We could put it inside, it doesn't really make a difference. So inside here, const create new chat. Okay. Now, first thing we're going to do, it takes members created by and group name. Right now, what does this mean? So remember that pop-up we had. Eventually, this will have it will take let's just say members array, which is Sonny and Jay, the created by, which is the user who's logged in, and a group name if it's a group chat. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to firstly determine, is this a group chat? If the number of members is greater than 2, it's a group chat. Yeah. Now, if it's a group chat, we handle it. So if it's not a group chat, then we handle something here. Yeah. Thank you so much, Carlava. Appreciate you. Yeah. So in this case, if it's not a group chat, then we're going to do a one-to-one check here. So firstly, we're going to check for existing channels. So we do a check where we query against the stream client. So what this is doing is querying. So it doesn't have to be the server one. Okay. Now what we're doing here is we're checking all of the messaging channels, which are the one-on-one channels. And we're checking if the members, which is, remember, it will only be one person because this is not group chat. We're going to go and see, are they already part of a chat? Because if they are, then we're going to make sure that they just go to that chat instead of creating another chat. Otherwise, what we're going to do, so after existing channel, so if there is an existing channel, we're going to find the existing channel, get the channel members, and then we're going to ensure that they are exactly the same 2 channel members, because this could be a case where, for somehow, it's just a safety check, to be fair. We're checking channel members' length is 2, members' length is 2, and we're checking that each of the members matches for clarity. Okay. Just to make, basically it's double checking this is what we're doing. Yeah. And then we do the check like so. Now, if it's not a group chat, then what we're going to do is we're going to create a unique channel ID. Again, you can use UUID library, whatever you want here. Doesn't really matter. You're a wizard with Next.js, Sonny. I appreciate you so much, Aldo. Thank you so much. So good to see you here as well. Now we're going to create a channel with the appropriate configuration for group chat versus one-on-one, right? So we're going to have the members created by and name, right? Members created by, right? So that's the starting point. Now, if it's a group chat, we're going to change the channel name. So in this case, we're going to say the channel data dot name is a group chat. Otherwise, it'll say group chat with like 3 members if you didn't give it in. So that's why I said it's an optional channel name. Yeah, optional. If it's not there, then it'll just say, again, we say it here, group chat 3 members, for example. Okay. Now, once that's done, we do stream client. And if it's a group chat, we set the type. It's either a team or messaging based on if it's a group chat, channel ID and channel data. And then we do channel.watch for presence, right? And then we return the channel. And this is really handy because we're going to create the new channel and then we're going to watch for the presence, right? So in this case, we return the error. We throw an error upward if there's any error. Okay. So this is our use create new chat. And then what we're going to do is we're effectively returning create new chat. So why is that important? Because what we can then do in here is we can just pull out that function like so. So it says use create new chat. Okay. Now, once that's done, we're going to have a couple of functions. We're going to have a few helper functions to set us up. Now, when we select a user, we're going to have one called handle select user. This looks like so. It takes a user, which is again of type, user in our Convex database, and avoids selecting the same user twice. So we're just making a little quick check here. Then we're also going to have the same thing for removing a user. So it won't select the same user twice. And also it will remove the user if we go ahead and call that. And then we're going to have the dialog itself. Now the dialog, you can see all of the usage here and how we use a dialog. So in this case, we can go and import all of these like so. And then we can start popping in. Now, instead of here, I'm going to have a dialog. So let's just remove this, return dialog, and then open is our local piece of state and an on open change. So what happens when the dialog changes the open state? So if I click out, that's already handled by their side, but we need to, it throws an event essentially. Right, and what we do is we catch the event. We say new open is going to be is open, basically Boolean and whatnot. So set open to the new open state, which is if you clicked out, it'll be closed and so forth. And then here, if not new open, so if it's not open, then reset the form when the dialog closes. So example, when I click this, reset the form. So you see how if I was using it and I went out, it reset the form. That's why we're doing this. Okay, so we have our dialog here. Then we have a dialog trigger, which is going to be the children. And that's going to be effectively the button. Okay, so now the children is starting to chat. If we clicked it, the actual button would be the trigger. Okay, reason why nothing popped up is because we don't have dialog content. Right, so dialog content is what we need to pop up. And then we have a dialog header, which will be start a new chat, search conversations. Now if we try that again, start a new chat. Hey, look at that. And we even have that. Look at that. Nice. Right. And then we have our div with the rest of the stuff popping in. So like so. Okay. Now the next step is we have the search component. So this is going to be a custom search component now. So we pass in our handle select user. We have to create a user search component. Now for the user search, we're going to create a custom user search. So we're not going to use the one that they give. So there is one. No, that's not user search. That's a loose seed. So user search.tsx, rfce, user search. And this is going to be a client component. Let's go back over here and let's pop that in. Oops. No, make sure it's the user search component, not the loose seed. It's freaking out because it doesn't have an on-select user right now. Right? So we need to pass in those three fields. Yeah, so we can say on select user, like so. It takes the following. On select user is just simply it takes a user, it doesn't return anything, placeholder string, class name is a string as well. And then we need the use user search. Again, it's getting a bit nested now because it's a lot of functionality that we're going to have. So use user search is a custom hook that we're going to create. Over here, we use user search, use user search.ts. And I'm going to pop it in and show you what we do here. So we're going to have a debounce effectively that we're going to create as well. And what we're doing is we're searching. We have a search term and we have a debounce, which basically means after 300 milliseconds, then it will execute. So imagine when you're typing in the search field, I keep shaking the table. When you're typing in the search field, if it goes ahead and did it at every key press, imagine the stress you're going to have on your server sending API requests every single time the user types a new character. That's crazy. What you're going to do instead is debounce it. Debouncing means if I type, and I stop 300 milliseconds later, then it executes. So it kind of like tallies up all of the events and then it only executes it once, as opposed to executing it like 50 times if I typed 50 characters. It will execute it once after 300 milliseconds of no activity. Then we basically query the database using our search users query with a debounced term. And then we throw the search term. And then we return all of these things like the search term, search results, if it's loading and so forth. But we obviously need a use debounce. So for use debounce, I've created a manual one here, but you can use Lodash, which is a library as well. This is an example of a debounce function. Okay, so you can literally copy that. It's just doing what I said. Basically, this is a manual way of doing it in React. If you don't want to use an external library, it's completely up to you. But in this case, that's what we're going to do. And then this, we can go ahead and just, sometimes that gets rid of the error. If you just do that, it kicks in. And now it's good. So we can use user search, pull that in. And then let's go back to user search. We need the user themselves. And then we need to filter out the currently logged in user from the search results, right? Like so. What is this doing? It's basically here. So if I don't want to see my own profile when I'm creating a chat, I'm already part of the chat, right? And then we're going to have two things for the clear search and handle select user as well, right? Where we set the search term to empty and so forth. And then we build out the search functionality, okay? Now, Sama goes debounce and use optimize. I use every time I implement search feature. It's awesome. 100% is very, very good, right? So first step is the div. So here I'm going to have a div like so. CN just means we combine with the utils. That's a handy little class name. What's going on here? What is this doing? Yeah, there we go. So just a bit of styling. And I've got the search input to begin with. So this one is the search input. Now, this is a custom search input I'm building. Obviously, I like to build my own ones that look good. Then we have an input field. Now, the input field is from Shadcn. So if we go to input, I'm going to grab this one. And then we have add input. Like that. And then we have the search. Make this relative because I believe we have something absolutely positioned. Now we're going to have a search icon from Lucid and the input field from React, Shadcn. Okay. Now, firstly, I just want to see as well, is this loading this out? So new chat dialog, get user search. So I want to show you already what we've built. And then we've also got the search term. So when we type in, I want the search term to pop in. So when we type in, we're going to have a button with the clear search button. So let that do its thing. Absolutely positioned. You gotta be careful with absolute positioning. Understand the difference. If you have a relative container, a parent, it's absolute to that. So now if I type in Sonny, you see nothing's happening because we're not actually executing a search. But you can see that's the actual search itself. Absolutely left positioned of it and so forth. Okay. Now, after this, we're gonna have the search results. And the search results are effectively going to be where we trim. So that means like if you put a space here, it doesn't count. And then we're going to have a div, which is the container. Now here we're going to have a loading state, a ternary basically. We're going to have two ternaries effectively. We're going to have, if it's loading, if there is no one found, and then one more state. So I'm just gonna say users like that. There. Yep. Inline spinner, user icon, pulled in like so. Now, search term. When it's loading, we load an inline spinner saying searching. If there is no users, we say no users found. Else, it's a ternary. This, if it's true, else, and so forth. Right. Then we got padding 1 or 2. Now here, I'm going to have the filtered results. Okay. So we're going to filter through the results. And what I'll do here is I think it's better I actually put these in then I explain it because it's going to be a bit confusing otherwise. So this one is going to be including the div. So okay, now I'll show you what's going on here. So firstly, we need the image from next image. We need the mail icon. Now here we have the filtered results mapping for every user. We're rendering out a button and we're styling up the button ourselves. We've got our on-click handle select user. If you click the result, these are the results, right? Which is the search results here, right? So afterwards, you got the user. So this is like a row representing users. So these right here is what we're essentially showing them. We got the user info, the mail icon with their mail, you see right here, and the selection indicator. Okay. So if you were to click it and so forth, right? Now, after that, we're good. We just need to have here the actual logic for what happens when we click it. So let's do it now. I'll type in Sonny. So you see like no users matching Sonny because I am the only one. But if we were to exclude the user, oh sorry, so we just did filter. Let's just do, I don't know if this will actually do it, if it'll filter out. Let's just do starting chat. Because they won't actually check, but in this case, if we just did search results, I just want to check. Will it show my user? I think it does. Filter out the current log. So if I did Sonny, oh yeah, here we are. So that's the first test. So it was about to render me, and then you see when it tried to render out a next image, we have to white label the next image domain. So in this case, go to next config, and here you want to do images. Oops. Images, remote patterns. And then you want protocol HTTPS, host name, imageclerk.com. And then that will restart the browse, the next config. So you can see here, it made changes. So it'll restart that. And now, start new chat, Sun. You see that? Popped up. You click it, and that will actually set the user. Of course, we don't want that. We actually want to filter out the user. I was just trying to show you that it was working. Okay, so start new chat. There you go. No other user on this app. Cool. So at this point now, user search is done. So we can go back a level. We've got the user search component. And then we've got the new chat dialog. So underneath the selected users. Yep. Next build is selected users. So here we have selected users.length. If it's greater than 0, we render them out. Right? So we render something out here. Else, well, we only got an and, which means it's only if it's true. So here we render out the users. So it's effectively the same, the exact same thing. So okay, I'm going to show you here. Import, input, X icon, image. Okay, so map through all the users. We have a div. Obviously, when you're mapping through anything, you want a key in it, which has a unique value. Then we have an internal div with the image, and this is the row representing the users that we selected. We then have a button next to them, which allows us to remove the user from the selected members that we want to create a group chat with. Now, if the number of selected users is greater than 1, it will show the group chat name box. And in that case, we have the input where we set the group chat name and then leave empty to use the default name. Okay. Now, after all of that, we have the dialog footer, and this is where we have the button essentially which says cancel or create the chat, right? Which is effectively how we do the thing in the first place. So let's add the dialog footer, let's add the Shadcn button, and then handle create chat. That's the last piece of the puzzle, right? So handle create chat is, let's just pop it here. Const handle create chat, asynchronous function. And now let's do it. So we need to know if it's a group chat, and we also need to know the total number of members, 1 + 1 for the current user, right? So whoever we selected +1 for the logged in person. Then we have the create new chat function, which we've already created with the create new chat hook. We pass in the members. This is the user themselves who is logged in, plus the selected users where we map through everyone, and we just pass through that ID. And we have the created by, which is the user who's logged in, and then the group chat name. If it's a group chat, we go ahead and pass that through. Otherwise, it's undefined, right? Then we set the active channel to become the chat. This is so important, by the way, because what this is doing is where we have on the layout, the chat wrapping the entire app. Here, the chat wrapping the entire app. We have to set the context of the channel here. So if we don't do that, it won't know when we click on the sidebar of a specific channel that we actually changed anything, which means all of those internal components, we also reset a bunch of stuff, all of those internal components inside of this page, such as this channel, it won't know which channel you're in. Okay. Now, if we've done it all correctly, we should have the ability to create a new chat now. So let's try out. Okay. So start a new chat, Sonny. I need another user. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to log in with another account. So in this case, let's go ahead and log in. Dashboard. There you go. So you see how it synced? You saw that in real time. It actually synchronized it in real time and pulled it through, yeah? So now this is a user because that was the first time they logged in. Cool. I want to chat to this person. Start chat, click it. And then, I mean, the UI is awful right now, but we're getting there. We're almost getting there. Okay. So why does it look like that? I mean, firstly, well done. It looked great. As in, well done. It worked. But what the hell happened there? Right? That's not what we wanted. Didn't want it to look like that. Well, there's a very nice, simple fix for this actually, which we've completely missed out on, which is good. It doesn't mean there's a long fix. So what we have is inside of, where is it? It's inside of, let's see, what do we put it? So I'm just trying to find it. We have, we actually have styling for it. I'm just trying to find out where we imported it. I'm trying to remember where did I import the styling for it? Yeah, I believe it's in one of the components and I've skipped over it. Give me a minute. I need to find out where we did it. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. So inside of the stream chat documentation, inside of the stream chat, I believe it was here. So obviously you've got a bunch of this stuff going on, tokens authentication, but where's the one with the components? Here, the components, right? Here, you see that? Import stream chat React distribution. That is automatic, like pre-styled stuff. So what we can do is inside of the dashboard layout, we can pop it in at the top and I'll show you what happens. So, sorry, I was on the wrong screen. So inside of our dashboard layout, this one, at the top, we can do it and I'll show you what happens. So I'll pop it in there. Stream chat React CSS v2 and boom, we have styles. Now, that is actually correct. It means that we haven't set up our separation correctly on the page. So over here, this is happening for good reason. This is because of, right now it's like stacked in a flex, which is weird. And that is because we put yeah, I messed up. That div should be outside there. Yeah. So the message list and message input are outside, were inside the wrong div. So that should have gone up one. And there you go, guys. We have our UI. And now, you ready to blow your mind? Which is crazy because it all comes together like super quick right now. Watch this. Yo, this is dope. Bam. Real time. Ah, chat. Look at that. Look. If I go ahead and do a heart icon, you can see this is a real time chat. This, what have I done here? This is awesome. Look, Sonny Sangha is typing on the left. And we have a full chat. And we even have files and everything as well. You can upload your own files. So let me give an example if I've got any files that I can put on that are okay. I mean, maybe I could put on an image. I don't know. Let's see if it uploads. It did work before, but demo gods are really not on my side lately. So right now I sent a picture and you can see, say hi to my new DP. Oh, I mean, this one says failed. Tried to send it again. It did send, which is interesting. It says failed. Let's see. We go back in. And now, let's see. Demo gods are really not on my side. It's way faster when I'm not live streaming. Put it that way. But there you go. Yeah, so it's working. Yep. And now if I want to start, we only have 2 users right now, but I can do a 3rd user if I was to log out and go into my other account. So let's try and do one more. Sign in. I think that one might log me in again, the same account. Yep, that did. Let's try this one. Okay, just trust me, it does work, right? As in the group chat thing. We've implemented it correctly because we've got the group chat here. You can have another user and also a deletion. Yeah, 100% works. I know that for a fact. Right, so in this case, I'm obviously going to push this code up so you guys can have full access to this. But that is sick, right? But I do want to show you another person in chat. I can do it after I deploy it. Yeah, so I'll deploy it at the end and then Jay can show you when he joins the chat. We can do a group chat. Okay, next up, let's do video call because that's very important, right? So already the chat stuff is done. I mean, leave chat as well. If I click on leave chat, we did not do leave chat yet. Yep, so we didn't do leave chat. Cool. Let's do leave chat next. So leave chat, instead of doing this is going to be an async. Let's do if there is no channel, no active channel. There we go. If there's no channel or user, and then we need to confirm before leaving. So we can say window, confirm, are you sure you want to leave the chat? And then what we're going to do is a try catch block where we basically try to remove the current user from the stream channel. And obviously because you're your own user trying to remove yourself, it's okay. You can do that, right? So clear the active channel after that, and then you can do router.push. Right, so let's try it. So leave chat. Are you sure you want to leave? Yes. And then you see it left the chat and then it went ahead and did it. And now you can see, look, this is a chat by themselves. It only shows this. This is one member, one online. Now, if I want to start a new chat and you see everyone else has left the chat. So if I went to, for example, Sonny, it will literally go to that. And then now if I was to message in, so hello. And that is the behavior that we want, because imagine if I left the chat, you don't actually want to be in the old chat. You want to have a fresh chat. Like you never want that kind of behavior to exist, right? You kind of always want it to be, I left the other chat. We have a new chat now. And now you can see for yourself, the old chat would be there. And that the reason why it's built in this way is because you say you have a group chat and you want to see the old chat, the contents, one person left, one person didn't. Instead of having it on the same chat flooded out, you can do it in this way. So it's kind of a separate chat. Okay. So in that way, and then obviously this person can leave this chat and so forth. But if I want to leave this chat, you can see I actually get rid of that and I'm only in this one then. But say hi there. Yo, boom. There you go, working. We even have the unread notifications. Right, so that's cool. Leave chat works, video calling. And then we deploy golden, right? 2 hours 30. I think we're on track, Jay. I think we're on track to do a 4 hour. Right, so let's do a handle call next. So it's gonna blow your mind as well because it's way easier than you think, right? So where we have the video calling button, handle call. Right now we just have this. So firstly, whenever you handle a video call, there's no channel, we're not going to do anything. We're going to do router.push / dashboard video call / channel ID. And then set open to false. So in this case, for us to do this, you see it took me to video call / channel ID. And that's really handy because you obviously want that because you want to be able to send that to a friend and then they can join in and so forth. Okay, that's like essentially a Zoom link, right? That's where all the chat functionality is going to happen. Now, this is where we tap into a different SDK entirely. Okay, so dashboard / video call. And then we have page. Oops. What's happening? Why is that happening? 1 minute. Oh. Okay. Okay, that was weird. Page. My computer was absolutely freaking out. So it's not this one, sorry. We have another internal one called ID, and this is a wildcard. So what the wildcard is representing is it can be any value. What's going on? Okay, so in here, pay. Okay, I'm gonna. What the hell? Pay. Okay, my cursor is freaking out. So I'm gonna close it and open it one more time. All right, let's give that another go. All right, here. Page.tsx. Wow, okay. Super weird. Welcome from Uzbekistan. What's up? With the page.tsx here, RFCE. It's going to be video call. And then we're going to have the layout as well. So it's going to be a layout here. Remember the rule of layouts and how we do it. RFCE. It's going to be the layout for the video calling. And this one will have the children, which is React nodes. We'll render out the children underneath. Okay. So now we've got the video calling structure now. So obviously, same principle applies here, right? So we need a couple of things first to ensure that we're actually rendered. Now, this is basically going to be where we connect the user to the call. And in short, it's going to look something along the lines of this at the bottom. So we're going to effectively have stream video, which we don't have installed at the moment because we haven't gone through this bit. So what I want you to do is go over to chat messaging, in this case, video and audio, docs, solutions, SDKs, React, video and audio, okay, SDK, video calling, start tutorial. You can even do this one if you want. They have an awesome tutorial here where you can go ahead and npm install everything, get it set up. So stream, IO, video, React, SDK. All right. Let's go ahead and install this. pm add stream IO. Okay. And then we're going to import everything we need. This is going to be a client component. And of course, because we cut the terminal, I'm going to need to npm or pm dev to start up again. Now for the client, we actually will use the same client, I believe it is. Yeah. We use, no, we don't. We use our own client. I forgot. Yeah. We need a separate client for this one because it's a separate SDK, right? And obviously you got examples here of how to create phone calls and so forth. But I'm going to show you how we do it in our way. Okay. So the cool thing here is you got the stream call part here. So let's just get prepared. So firstly, we need to have the stream API key, else it should throw an error. And next up, we need a bunch of state here. So use user, let's import these, use params, next navigation, use state. Yep. Okay. And then we need to go ahead and say the following. So stream video client. Yeah. Now this one is freaking out because it's not, if it's no, it doesn't count. So we're going to say if there's no client. So if no client, then for now, we're just going to say loading. Okay. And then same for the call as well. If no call, loading call. I mean, it's fine. We're going to replace these anyway. Loading client. All right. That's a very weird way of doing it, but okay. So that's fine for now. We're going to have the stream user. First up, we're going to need a token provider. Now, this is similar to what we did before when we created a token, so no different. We have the use callback function, token provider. We have the create token action, and we basically create a token if this is called. Okay. The second one is going to be to initialize the user themselves. So what do we mean by this? So this one is going to be if we land on this page, we need to connect the user. Very similar to what we did before, really. Right, and stream user, we need to have a value there. We don't have that yet, but we will have that. Token provider we have, And the rest of it we have, but it's again new stream video client this time. Now, underneath at the top, we can start here. We need something called a stream user, and then we're going to use memo here. We don't want to keep re-rendering the user, right? So we want to kind of only if the user changes do we redo this value. So the stream user, we're basically going to restructure them. We're saying if there is no ID, return no, or if there is no user, effectively return no. Otherwise, return a user in this shape: ID, name, image, type, because that's how it expects it inside of this stream client. Okay. Now you could really here also go ahead and do it inline without this kind of use memo, but it's a bit more efficient this way. So I'm going to keep it like that. And then we're going to have one more, which is going to be responsible for joining the call. Okay. This is going to be the use effect beneath here. Use effect. And this one is going to be based on the ID and client. And this one is going to say if there's no ID or no client, we simply return defensive programming. We set the error to no in the beginning, and then we have client.call. Client.call is very important. This is how you initiate a call, right? And the client ID, or the ID of the call, is the ID of the room that we're in. This is going to be unique based on your room. And then we have a try catch, essentially wrapping inside of a function called join call, where we try to join the call and we create it if it doesn't exist. We set the call in our local state. And then if something went wrong, we obviously set an error. We run join call outside, and then we need a cleanup function. Right? The cleanup function is going to go ahead and always hang up the call if we left for whatever reason. So if there's a stream call and the calling state means that we've joined, then we're going to go ahead and leave the call. Okay. Just like that. So, the next thing before is basically, remember we had a nice calling screen. So we actually had a very cool calling screen here. So we had this nice status cards, right? So if I click on video call, oh, this is actually the production one. Oops. Oh, that's the, yeah, this is my one right now. Yeah, this is my one right now. Loading call. You see that loading call? Because I'm in that page. And then it tried to load it, right? So it actually did connect me to a call probably. And then when we left, it would have cleaned it up. So let that load. Jump back over here. So I'm going to have a couple, basically I've got a few status cards that will pop up. So this one will be 3001. Yeah, 3001. Dashboard. I'll show you. I just want to show you the status card before we do it because it's going to make a lot more sense. It's the pretty card that you saw, the joining call, all of that stuff. It was basically that. So when you click on this, you see this joining call. This is known as a status card that we're going to build. Okay. I'm going to basically build that out. So let's go back. Now, with that in mind, we're going to create a status card component. Yeah, status card.tsx, and effectively it's a functional component, takes 5 things: props, title, description, action, class name of children. It's simply a div with a bunch of base styling where we render the children out, then the title, description, and action underneath it. Okay, that's effectively what we're doing here. Now, once we've got that done, what we can do is we can render it out in place of these. So what I want to do here instead is have, if there's an error, I'll show the following card. So instead of these now, I'll say if there's an error, then I'll show this status card. Title is call error, description is the error itself, class name, and the action itself is the ability just to reload the page. And we've got a logo for that triangle. Okay. And then if it's loading, I'll show an inline spinner inside of that. Again, component design, very simple, setting up video call connection. And if we don't have a call, it'll say it's joining the call with a video. Like so. Cool. And then you have the stream call itself rendering out the children. So that effectively is all of the logic to set up a call. And then inside of the page, we will be effectively showing the actual layout of a call. So now we should see that process. So if I click it, look, joining call. The background looks horrible, but yeah. And then we're inside the call. So that's actually joined a call. Obviously the UI was not what I wanted. So let's fix that. Layout. So this is because we need the video React SDK styling. So one thing I did leave out here as well is here. You need to import StreamIO video React SDK distribution SCSS styles. Now let's try again. Video call, and there you go. Now we get the colors coming through. Cool. So joining call, and then we're inside the call. So now we just have to render out the call, and that's way easier than you can imagine because of the pre-built components from GetStream. Okay, so GetStream make it really easy here to do that. All we need to do is inside of our page now, and this is, you see the power of what we're doing here, by the way, because we have the layout, which is effectively managing most of the complex logic really, and then we combine that with GetStream's UI components. It's simplifying so much for us because then we can just focus on just rendering out a component, which effectively gives us so much functionality. To have a full video chat just from this is incredibly powerful. And J block. It's so funny when I see messages like that. We have some keyboard ninjas at times. And the funny thing is about that is with these situations, I guarantee you try and build this app, you'll be strongly humbled to try and build it out. So I would always say never underestimate a project because there's so like yeah, never underestimate a project. I made a mistake here, so I don't need to do this. Heroes and can't go. Amen. Exactly. All right, so we have stream video, boom. Also, I always wonder, like, if someone actually had the time in their life to come on someone else's stream, blows my mind. I have no time to come on someone else's stream and hate. I never. Okay, so in this case, we got the imports over here. We need a couple of things to prepare our state, right? So in this case, put these in, use call state hooks, use call calling state, use participants, which allows us to tell, which tells us how many people are in a call. The regular use state hook, and then use sidebar from our sidebar. Okay. Now I'm going to have a couple of helper functions. One is handle leave. It sets the sidebar to open. Outlook like under email. Maybe, yeah. Router.push dashboard. And then copy to clipboard is going to be another one where we copy the link, for example, if no one's in there. Then we're going to have calling states. Now, this one is very important because here, use calling state. So depending on what state the call is in, we'll basically be able to render out different things. If we're joining the call, I can render out the following. I'm going to use our status card from before with the inline spinner. And then it's going to say joining call, please wait while we connect you to the call. Same for reconnecting. If for any point the call starts reconnecting, we can use the calling state reconnecting to go ahead and show our status card. Same thing for joined as well. If it's loading the call and it's joined. And then if all of that gets through, it means you've made it to the call. Okay. So at this point now, let's go ahead and pop that through. So we've got the video call itself. And then we're going to have two things. One, the speaker layout and the call controls. This is the most important part. Okay. So flex one relative, I want the speaker layout to take up the majority of the room. That's the speaker themselves. And then we have the call controls down below. Down below. The speaker layout is the most important. That's where you can see both the speakers chatting away, or all of the speakers. And then what I want to do is, if there's no participants, I want to show a message. Now I'm going to pop that in like so at the bottom, but this is a more of an extra optional step. Okay. So first, let's pop these logos in, copy an icon. Now here, this is basically just an overlay over the middle, which will essentially, no matter what, if there's only you in the call, it'll just have a basically an overlay saying with a copy button saying waiting for others to join, share this link with others. It'll show your current location, and then it will say copy to clipboard, and then it will basically have the copy check mark if you copied it and so forth. Now, notice how we also have a use effect. I believe it was, oh, we don't. The copied, oh no, yeah, we did. The copy to clipboard did it, yeah. After 2 seconds, it went ahead and cleared the copy message, which is very handy. You'll see why. Showroom, because Papa Fam is legend. I appreciate you so much, Papa Fam, all the way. All right, so there we go. And guys, I think we just completed the app. Look at this. Carl, you're back at the ultimate time. We're just about to demo, I believe, to be the app completed. So I actually need to VPN it because UAE is pretty strict with it. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and do that. So video call here. So we're going to do a video call. You see how it closed that one? And that one hasn't got the styling for some reason. This one has. I believe this needs to be refreshed, this person. So let's refresh that because that one hasn't got the correct styling there. Okay, I want to do it one more time because I've messed that up. But in this case, even then, if we did it correctly, then both chats shouldn't be screwed up by what I just did there and exited because I have a cleanup operation running. So let's give it a try. This person's going to try and call. In this case, it's like, oh yeah, I'm joining the call. Wait for it. And obviously you can do whatever you want to this extent. You could have the chat on the side. You could do so many things with this. And look at that. Look, I'm in the background. You can see, look, there we go. I'm going to copy the link and you see how it says copied and 2 seconds later, boom. And now I'm going to go here. I can either paste the link if someone gave it to me, or I can click video call. So let's just paste the link. Let's try that. Paste the link. And now imagine you send this to your friend, right? And now look, it says joining call. And a second, we should see is, oh, look at that. If I change one of my cameras. Hey. Now you can see both people talking. And obviously this works across the board with like 5 people, 100 people, up to 100 people. And we have our call controls at the bottom. And just like that, let me close that. And just like that, guys, we have the full thing working. And this is incredible. And even if I was to pop the channel, look at that. That is just so clean, guys. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful stuff. And if I leave the call, pow, that goes back to waiting for others to join. And then if I leave this call, pow. Absolutely incredible stuff. That's so nice. That's really, really awesome. I think that's something which makes GetStream such an incredibly powerful platform. Obviously, Clerk was powering all of our authentication seamlessly, and you saw how much we were using the authentication throughout. And because of our amazing hooks, like the use user hooks everywhere, we were able to do it without any issues. So we constantly use this all over the place. Such a powerful combo, GetStream and Clerk. Incredible. So now, the moment of truth, we deploy. How to deploy this app. Obviously, there's the production environment. You can change that yourself. I'm going to show you how to push to Vercel, right? So firstly, you want to set up your Vercel CLI tools. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. But before I do, I'm going to go back to my playlist now. Okay. So I've already set up the Vercel CLI. You can go ahead and do that. You can do Vercel CLI. You can deploy in so many ways, but in this case, I'm going to do the Vercel CLI route. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new one here. And then you can do Vercel simply like so. Set up and deploy. Yes. And then which scope? Sonny Sangha's project. Link to existing project. No. I'm going to do a new project. Yes. Want to modify these settings? No. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. And now what it will do is you want to, firstly, if you haven't installed it globally, you can do it like so. You can update it and whatnot. Now it's going to fail the first time because if you click on inspect, what we will notice is that I'm going to make sure I'm logged into the correct account. I believe it's this account. Yeah. If you notice that we don't have our environment variables anywhere. So what you want to do is you want to go to settings, environment variables, and you will see there are no environment variables anywhere. So what we're going to need to do, head over to our .env, grab all, go ahead and close that. I'm invalidating all of my stuff afterwards, yes. And then you're gonna go pop that in and click save. And now we push these, and obviously it goes without saying that if this was a real world scenario, you would swap certain keys for the production instance. What do I mean by that? Well, for example, here we're in development. You would go to production, get the keys, which would be different. And then in your environment.local, you have your development key. In your production, you would have your production key. Very important point. Super, super important point there. Okay, do not mix that up. Okay, so that's obviously how you separate your environments. And also you can have different environments. Here, look, you can have development, preview, production, because you could have preview branches. In my software house, we do this a lot, where we actually have such an awesome CI pipeline where we have our local branches which won't break the main production databases and so forth. Yeah, it's really, really awesome. So Sama goes, one of the awesome builds from Pop Fam. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, dude. So that will fail now. Yeah, there you go. And there you go. That's why. Yeah. So in this case, now we do Vercel again, and it will push again the code. So you can see, like, now it's building. So if we go over to deployments, we can see the second one building. Now, if we have a look at it, build logs right now, you can see it's going to go ahead and do its thing. Now, obviously, if you remember, do not forget to go through the links in the description when you are setting up with Clerk, as well as when you're setting up with GetStream. It makes all of the difference. Please, guys, if you're watching this, it's free content. The reason why we're able to do it free is thanks to our incredible sponsors over at Clerk and GetStream. Yes, they're sponsored, you know, tech companies. However, the stuff works. I would not rebuild audio and video APIs. No way. I'm using this and I'm focusing on building an awesome app, period. So you can do you, but in my way of thinking, if I'm going to build an awesome product, I'm going to do it that way. And I'm going to build it from the get-go with something like this and focus more on the pricing model of my app, as opposed to rebuilding things like, you know, video and audio and things like that. All right. So Jay's also popped it in the chat right now. Guys, today we've covered Next.js 15, Stream, Clerk, Convex, Tailwind, TypeScript, the whole lot, Shadcn, Sidebar logic, all of that inside of today's video. Absolutely awesome. We are at nearing the end of the stream. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and pop it in now. So do you prefer Clerk and Convex over open source like Supabase or AWS? Quite honestly, at the moment, yes, I am preferring, obviously, Clerk 100%. I'm just going to say that outright. There is no other auth company I'd rather use. Facts. I will say that over and over again. Clerk is my ride or die, not because we even worked together for long, but just because it just is the best. I've used so many. It's just the best. It works over and over and over again. So simple to implement. And now they have Clerk billing. It's just awesome for SaaS businesses. Supabase is not bad, by the way. I just really enjoy coding with Convex at the moment. AWS, I have my moments with it. S3 is awesome. We use it a lot in a software house. I have my moments with AWS. Reason being I say it like that is because it's just the setup is very big compared to the other stuff, right? Okay, here we have it, guys. Boom. There we have the lovely deployment. Sonny Code, love the energy and passion you put into the build, and thank you for always doing you. I appreciate you guys so much. Little bit goes, yeah, AWS is special. Love that. Look at this. I mean, AWS is awesome, by the way. I'm just gonna say that they are actually incredible. I like the seamlessness of a lot of the modern stuff, like the Convex and all these kind of guys. But AWS, it has its use cases. The amount of times that I can't find solutions elsewhere, come running back to AWS, and S3 comes saving the day. All right, let's go ahead and log in. Obviously, this is on a production, a preview branch, and I'll show you how to productionize it afterwards. So we can continue or push to production. But as you can see now, pow, we are on a live domain. So what I'm going to do now is I only have access to this, but if I was to push to production, so Vercel --prod, now we will go ahead and push this or promote this to production. And then I'm going to give it to Jay, and me and Jay are going to have a video call. And then you're going to have seen the entire flow from having a video call with Jay to building the app all over again to having a video call with Jay, which is, in my opinion, pretty damn sick for a just about to hit 3-hour live stream. Super proud of that one. I told you, I was like, I'm gonna knock this in 3 hours. I feel like, and I'm very happy I did, because that is an awesome stream for 3 hours. Now, so a couple of things I want to mention as well. If you're wondering, Sonny, you mentioned about GetStream, but how stable are they really? Like, can you trust a company like that to go ahead and, you know, support everything from your, like, you know, all of your needs for chat messaging, or even, let's say, for example, the video, right? So video and audio. Well, yes, you absolutely can. They honestly have had over 1 billion end users. They have under 9 millisecond API, and they have a 99.999% uptime SLA guarantee, right? So these are industry ready. These are solid, okay? And they have security and compliances everywhere. So you can see for yourself on their website. Go ahead and check it out. Again, go through the link in the description. You've definitely heard of Patreon. So you guys can see for yourselves they use it. And even AI voice agents, very, very cool stuff. Like, look, integrate stream with Cartesia, DeepGram, 11 Labs, loads of cool stuff in the AI space that they're working with. Really, really worth checking out, right? Rory Costa goes, so I lost the bet, Sonny. Is that not a 10-hour build? Don't worry, dude. Sushi's on me always. So in this case, we can see here we have a production build that is awesome. That's actually not the production link, by the way. So just a rule of thumb, when you work in that way, you can see that's the actual nice one. So I'm going to give it to Jay right now. And then I'm going to go to the link. Pow, pow. I mean, if anyone actually wants to jump on a call with me now, that would be pretty damn cool. So I'm going to give you guys like a minute to do that. And whoever does it, does it. If not, I'm going to chat to Jay and that's it. We're good. But if anyone actually wants to jump on a call, you've got a chance to do it right now. That would be so cool, as in to be able to do that. I'm not going to talk for long. I'm going to give a heads up, but feel free to do that for a second. Right? Obviously, please be in a good way. Don't come on the camera in craziness, right? So there you go, yeah. And there we have it. We have me in the chat. There we go. So Jay's going to go ahead and log into that right now and start a chat with me and say hello, and then it'll pop up on my side. We'll wait for him to do that. In the meantime, guys, as always, if you found this very difficult, or you thought, you know what, I feel way left behind, I don't know where to start, then you guys know what to do. 0 to Full Stack Hero 2.0, papareact.com. Go ahead and join us. You guys know that this is where I literally pour my heart and soul out. Everything that I do is all I'm doing is constantly trying to push more information into 0 to Full Stack Hero. That's my main goal. So that way we have the best developer community, hands down. The fact that we're on live streams for 4 hours, 5 hours together, just make it like, just understand that, like, who else is doing that? No one. And I'm the only one who's live with you guys sitting here, and we got stuck earlier and I still showed you every single step of the way. Yo, look at this. That is awesome. Check this out. We got chats in the house. Rui Costa, yo, look at this. That's absolutely awesome. Jay goes, let's video call. You know what? I'm so down. I'm so down. Son of Code, 0 to Full Stack Hero, you automatically get access to URC if you join. I believe it's Diamond. Yeah. Guys, this is, if you want to, Rui, I don't know if you're cool with it, but if you want to jump on a video call, I will do a group chat with you and Jay right now. I'm going to show you guys right now. Let Rui and Jay, and watch this. I'm going to do Papa Fam OGs. Maybe I shouldn't have done the hyphen, but we can do Papa Fam OGs. I'm going to do create group chat. So look, now I've got a group chat with Rui, and he goes, can't, I'm at work. Oh no, I would have loved to have done that. But look, now you can see Jay in there as well. Rui, can you see in this chat as well? So you've got 3 members here. You can even add a popover if you wanted. But yeah, anyone else who wants to do it, feel free to now. I wonder if anyone else has joined in. Let's see, Carlo, Sasang. Look at that, guys. We got people in. Sorry, I've just blurted out your email. I'm so sorry. But there you go. All right, Jay, let's do a video call right now. So I'm going to do it in the Pop Emojis channel. But look, he's chatting away. That is so cool. That is actually so cool on a live stream. We only need Papareact the link. Okay, I could just give you the link. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. Thank you so much, dude. But I have to invite you to the channel. So you have to sign in, Moses. Oh, sorry. I didn't give you the link. My bad. My bad, guys. There you go. You can feel free to join the link. All right. You know what? I'll give everyone a bit of time while I kind of wrap the video up, yeah? And then we can kind of do this one because this is fun. This is very fun, all right? And again, like I said, once we start that video call, get stream support, one-to-one calls, group calls up to 100 participants. You can broadcast up to over 100,000 participants with high latency and high quality and low latency. It's absolutely crazy, right? And they got adaptive resolution based on your network and the client conditions, which is all the things that we expect out of a true production, style, calling app. Is absolutely amazing. Noise reduction features, recording features as well, and transcriptions to transcribe your call to multiple languages. It's incredibly powerful. And of course, Clerk, I just love Clerk, honestly. This is incredible. Multi-factor authentication, passkey, session management, email, SMS, one-time passcodes, magic links, the whole 9 yards, and the 20 webhook events. It's just awesome. Carlo, look at that. Yo. All right, who can do the video call? Let's go jump in right now. Whoever is here, look, we've got Vibe Shan. Yo, guys, look at this, so cool. I want to say, yo, on you guys are live right now. I'm going to create a group chat with Carlo. I'll show you guys right now. So we've got Carlo. I'm going to do Jay. I'm going to do Vibe. Moses is said he's here. Oops, sorry, Moses. And there we go. We got 4 users. Let's call it Avengers. Okay, this is cool. Okay, this is cool. We got 5 people here, yeah. And then let's see if we can do a live group call right now. So look at that. You can see all the members. Carlos, Sangha, Moses, Jay, Coca. All right, now what I want you all to do in this chat is I'm gonna say, look at that, look at that. It shows this. This is live, guys. Right? So let's say click on video call. Okay, click on video call. Let's do it. Let's actually have a chat. Let's do it. I'm gonna go ahead and chat to you guys. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna have probably some weird. No, I won't even have echo. I think this would be an actual call. Let's see if this works. I'm so excited. This would be so cool. If someone can do a call, I would love to show Jay. I want you jumping on the call as well, because we can go ahead and demonstrate everything. Waiting for others to join. So I'm in that call right now, and then I want to see at least Jay's going to join so we can see one person. But I want to show you guys that it's actually a real group call functionality. So let's go ahead and get Jay in a moment. The Marine from Texas, it will be a straight conversion from the bank's rate. Oh, yo, we got Moses as well. Look at this. Yo, that is sick. Hey, that is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm here.
What's up, dude?
Oh my God, this is insane.
Oh wow, this is crazy. This is one of the best things I've seen on our live stream so far. We got Jay, Moses, Carlo.
This is so wow. This is wow.
Guys,
honestly, this is like wow.
Firstly, thank you so much for being in the live stream. This proves the point so much. I think we're ready pretty much to wrap up on the build, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in and being brave enough to be on stream. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Peace.
Peace. Guys, what? That was mind blowing. Yo, Marine Protector goes, this is sick. This is what you just built. I am paying. Dude, 100% join us. 100. Look at this. Look, we got people here as well. Yo, Italia. Yo, look, Chan here. What's up? Guys, wow, what an ending. Guys, if you, like I said, if you want more of this kind of energy, you guys know where to find us. papareact.com/course. Go ahead and join us. This is the kind of energy you see throughout our community, like through and through. This is what we're about. Guys, this is nuts. Look at this. Look, very good build. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for this build. You're awesome. Now, while I have you all here, I'm going to put the code. The code in the beginning is in the Papa GitHub repo. I'm going to see if I can get permission to put it for free, so that way you guys can get it. Permission from my sponsors and all these guys. But if not, it's 100% in the Papa GitHub repo. I'm going to try my best to get it for free as well. So that way you guys can pin it. I'll pin it in the chat, and then obviously you guys can just, I'll make it relatively easy for you guys to get to. Okay, Rui Costa goes, I'm already a member and I'm loving it. He's already a member of Zero to Full Stack Hero. I know you are, dude. OG, love your work. I appreciate you guys. This is absolutely, thank you so much, Moses, as well. I appreciate you guys. Guys, there we have it. I don't think there's any other way to absolutely bang that finisher. That was absolutely incredible. Make sure, please, if that wasn't exciting, just destroy that like button, because that got me in such a good mood to finish this build on. Absolutely incredible way to do it. And it's so impressive. It just speaks for itself. It's so impressive. And we have people even signing up right now. More and more coming in. Absolutely crazy. When I see that, and I see how many people were tuning in and listening with intent, you guys are awesome. I love and appreciate you all. Let me know, honestly, in the comments everywhere. I'm always checking comments, what kind of content you want to see on this channel. As always, this has been your boy, Papa React, aka Sonny. Today's build was brought to you by Clerk and Get Stream. Use all the links in the description. As always, join us over at papareact.com. We have parties like this all the time. And as always, guys, absolutely, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next build. Just for reference, I have so much content coming out at the end of this year. I have so much content, it's wild. So you guys can buckle in. I'm literally here to stay Q4 and beyond. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next one. Oh, we got some OGs now. It's Code of Ashik. I see you guys. All right, guys. I love and appreciate you all. I see all the messages, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.